The winner of the individual world commercial championships, 100 grand. Winning team, 100 grand. And the sponsorship come from somewhere like Sky Sport. You suddenly see a real boom in angling in the UK.
You're going to be selfish, and I'll tell you exactly as it is. If I want Sky Sports to go on an event, I want them to come on what I think is the pinnacle of match fishing, the Float World Championship.
My goldfish had gone. I know he's had this. And I've gone all the way over to his house, stole it back.
Who was it?
And I went in head first. And Will was on the next peg. As I came up, I looked. And
He's clinging onto the bank, and he's looked at me and he's gone, "Don't you laugh."
And then the embarrassing bit.
Started this bonfire, and he's gone to make himself a coffee, and he's come back.
Oh, yeah.
And like the wooden shed's like half alive. The next thing there's like fire engine.
Really memorable one for you two, and Will win it, for you to be on the podium as well, and for the team to get a gold medal.
The Fishing Gurus podcast.
Well, listen boys, I've been waiting to get you two sat in front of me in this studio for quite a long time. I don't think you realise how many people have asked for you to come on here, Steve. Honestly, every show we do, if you look at the comments, can you get Stevie G? Can you get Stevie G? So thank you very much for coming on.
My local tackle shop keeps saying it to me as well.
Does he really?
Yeah. He used to have the carp shop in Hawley.
Yeah.
And he now works in the tackle warehouse. And he keeps saying, "You've got to go and do one." I haven't told him.
Really?
No.
I think people will love it. It'll be a right surprise. It will be.
Definitely.
Do you listen to any podcasts, Steve?
Yeah, I have listened to some, but they take. I'm like, I fall asleep.
Alright, you don't have to come on it and slate it.
Normally the presenter.
No, it's not. It goes on. They go on for so long. I have to watch and then come back in and No, I have done. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I feel proper like against.
Dave Harrell was very good.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, you had a job to get a word in edgeways once he started.
Literally, I just went, "Welcome to the Fishing Gurus podcast." 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. See you later.
He was good though.
Yeah.
You listened to it.
Yeah, I've listened to him.
Very good.
It's good.
What's been happening in your fishing, both of you two? Because you've both been doing a bit different stuff.
Already?
Yeah, we just record and have a chat. That's all we do.
Oh, right.
What you been doing? What's been happening in your fishing worlds, both of you, at the minute?
Well, obviously, I've toned it down now. I just fish local. Which I enjoy. You know, it's fish the same venues most weeks. Obviously, it changes a bit in the winter months, but this time of the year, I tend to fish local. But
where do you go, Steve? What venue?
Warwick Wold, usually Wednesdays and Saturdays. Willinghurst Sundays, and I do the odd one at Sumner's Pond, and I've done an odd one on Bow Beach over the recent years, but not very often. Yeah. You know, wading out in the water and setting up, and it's hard enough getting to your peg there.
It is a mission there.
Is it? You like Bow Beach though, don't you?
Yeah, but I know exactly what Steve says. You've got to be into it and going regular to.
We got another one as well, Ardingly, not far from me, only 20 minutes away. That's a nice venue as well, but you got the same thing there, is getting to your peg and setting up in the water and all the rest of it. And the way fishing's gone, for me personally, I feel that unless you fish the same venues regularly, you're not going to compete.
Why is that, Steve? What do you think?
Because you've got local experts that fish there regularly, and they are tuned in. So like I said, I've just been away in the Caribbean for a couple of weeks.
Sounds all right.
And yeah, it was nice. The fishing were very good, but it was nice. And there was Robin Morley and Gary Pook. But when I got back, I gone to my local venues and I was out of touch. They changed. But the problem you got then, you think, well, okay, I'll give it another go at what I was doing before I went away. And then it's very hard to come off it. And so you end up with people that are specialised in certain types of fishing. And fair play to them, you know, that's what they enjoy doing, and they make it work. But sometimes you have to switch off from what you're doing and start again. But then you're playing catch up because now you've got to get into, the depth of water I'm fishing, how often do I feed, how much do I feed, and they're tuned into that. They know, I'm feeding too much or I'm not feeding enough, whereas you don't. So if you suddenly say, I'm not going there next week, I'll go somewhere else, you're getting further behind.
Do you think that's more a case on commercials than any other kinds of venues? Yes,
definitely commercials more so. In general, the other types of venues, they don't have 3 matches a week on, and like the rivers and the reservoirs, it'd be one and then maybe another one 2 weeks later, and you're all. It's like years ago when we used to fish the rivers all the time. You've got a lot of different things on the river. For once, you're normally only pegged on one bank.
Yeah.
So you've got a far bank. You've also got bends with the river, the flow goes from one side to the other, and then you've got the colour of the water, the speed of the flow, flooding conditions, gin clear. And when you get to your peg, you've got to make your mind up. Exactly, you've got to look at the flow and decide exactly what your tactics will be. But when you go into commercials, you can go there with a preconceived plan in a lot of them.
Yeah.
And you go there and say, right, this is what I'm going to do today. It's not, so the rivers was more...
Watercraft played a much bigger part in,
and yes.
your natural
and we used to fish a lot of different rivers as well. And then that's, for example, there might be, there's a 2-day festival, say, on the Rother at Rye, first week of the season. We might not go back there for a month.
Yeah, so you're not noticing a pattern as much as you can on a commercial.
No, but saying that, I think commercials has saved match fishing.
Do you really?
Yeah, because in the area where I live, I mean, we used to fish a lot of times on the Thames and some of the smaller rivers now. You can't even park anywhere now.
Yeah.
And if you did, it'd cost you an arm and a leg to leave your car there for the day. And that is one of the biggest problems I feel is parking. We've lost it all.
Yeah, I bet it's the same at a lot of cities. I bet it is. What about you, Will? What have you been up to fishing wise? Obviously, I know you're relentless all the time.
Yeah. I mean, obviously came back from Slovakia. You were out there with us. And what's a little bit different this year is the Europeans and the Worlds are quite close, as you know.
Yeah.
Europeans is late, the Worlds is slightly early. So there's not a massive gap in between. I've still been fishing and doing some work with match fishing I was out with this week. And
nice.
Out next week filming a bit with Darwa. Obviously got the next 3 weekends on the Warwickshire Avon.
What's that for?
Practice for the Division 1 National.
Lovely.
Got a few practice matches the next 2 weekends and the National. Then I think it's about 2 weeks and we go to Bosnia. So really deep in prep, virtually living in my tackle room every evening now. But I love the prep side of it all, mate. And it's an important time of year to be not fishing too much, but preparing for when I'm going to be fishing a lot.
Nice. Are you still a big prepper, Steve? Do you still spend a lot of time?
I do.
Do you?
I used to spend as much time prepping as I did fishing at one point.
Really? That's probably where he gets it from, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I do. I was talking on the way here today. I every match rip the rigs off, throw them away. That's it. When I get back, cut all the lines off, remake them all.
Would you ever use a rig twice, or
normally it's only if I'm going to the same venue 2 days on the trot.
Right.
And I know the depths and everything are going to be very similar. Then I'll think, well, I'm going to be doing that again tomorrow. So, but in general, no. And check all my elastics, before I retie them all up. Don't do put them in my bag. I put them there I've got them little loop things you put on the bottom to protect the elastic and a band on the top. But when I come back I don't put them back on until I get home, and then I'll check the elastics first to make sure they're not. And otherwise, I change them regularly. I change elastics. Got a bit of a thing about them snapping on me. I don't.
Have you really?
I can't remember the last. Or once I can remember in about the last 10 years, but I can remember being in Italy. I think it was. No, it wasn't. Was it Italy, Will? When we were changing elastic every 2 days.
Yeah.
What's that? Because of the heat?
Yeah.
Yeah, checking them, running them across your lips.
Yeah.
No, another one.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It didn't matter what elastic it was. It just couldn't stand the UV, I think, isn't it?
Where's I've got you two sat in front of me, and you've literally fished all over World. When we're talking about prep and gear and elastic snapping, where would you say is the most demanding venue you've ever fished in terms of your kit's got to be super robust and strong out of everywhere you've ever fished?
Super cool. What in international matches you're talking about?
Anywhere, yeah. I've seen a picture of you in Steve's book playing an eel in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, it would be probably a mixture of a lot of venues.
Yeah.
Because on the first World Championships I ever fished in Croatia, I was sharing the room, obviously, with Steve. For the first 15 years of my international career, I travelled with Steve and we roomed together.
Yeah.
And it's a saying that I use a lot now when people ask me on teachings and articles and that. And I can remember in that rowing course in Croatia, there was some massive grass carp and, and I can remember one evening Steve making these rigs up. And I said, "Oh, however you're going to fish, you know." And one thing Steve said to me then was, "I'd rather not hook it than hook it and lose it." So I'm going to make them. And that has stuck with me. I'm 50 now, and I still. People say to me on teachings or in magazines or you know, interviews or whatever, or just talking in the shop, I don't know how heavy to fish, and straight away I'm like, listen.
Yeah,
And that same saying comes out.
I can. You just reminded me of a mistake I made in a World Championship in, I think it was Portugal, 2006, on that rowing.
Montemor.
Yeah, and we'd all. The first day of the competition, I came second in my section, so I'm right up there. And I'd been catching quite a few of these mullet it was, and the second day I was on the other bank where Stu Conroy had been, and I remember Stu saying to me, "The mullet are bigger over there," and I'm like, "Oh, what do I do?" I think I was fishing 012. I've been doing all right in the practice, and I've done all right. I can't change. Well. Had a disaster, to be honest.
Honestly?
Yep, I caught one mullet. He was very hard roll, was I beat the guy to my left but not to the right, but I ended up something like 28th in my section out of 40. Fortunately enough, we still had enough to win, but I had two snapped me,
right,
and one pulled off at the net, and my section was one with 2 kilo. And if I'd have won my section, I think Thomas Walter,
he won it with the first and the third.
Yeah, I would have won it. And,
oh my God!
And it sticks with me for. Fortunately, it didn't cost the team. But I also remember something about Thomas Walter winning it, because on the last practice day, we decided we wasn't going to fish all to our plan, if you remember. And Thomas was next to us in his team, and we'd asked about getting a load of lean.
TDR, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, I've got loads you can have." And after the practice session, he said, "Can I have some of that back?" And we had to give some back, and he went and won individual.
So you reckon he clocked that was what you needed?
Thomas is switched on. He doesn't miss a.
No.
He doesn't miss a trick,
and he won it. Yeah, but that was one that always sticks in my mind. But saying these mullet were very hard to catch when they were. They were very, very clever, and I thought, you think, well, if I'd have fished heavier, took notice what Stu said, would I have landed them, or were they foul hooked? All these things went, because they come in your peg and they're not the easiest fish to catch. No. I'll be honest.
You're fishing for a sea, yeah, but people will be listening to this. This is what I love about having people like you two sat down at this table. You have to think twice. Did he say mullet? Yeah. You're fishing for mullet in a match, in a freshwater fishing. Yeah. Like, that is the diversity of international fishing.
Yeah, and we won.
Yeah.
And you won.
Yeah. Fishing for a fish that I'd never fished for before.
It's a sea fish.
And we wasn't allowed to practice the week before on the venue.
No.
We were there a week early, and I can't remember what we did. We just loafed about a bit, didn't we? Yeah.
Out of curiosity, and because now you're talking about it, I've got to keep asking you questions on it. What were the tactics to catch mullet? Like, was there a specific way you needed to fish for that fish?
Yeah, Will probably remember better than me, but lean was important.
Yeah, soil was the thing, no ground bait.
Why is that, do you reckon?
Again, Stevie, we're fishing in Italy over the years. We know a lot more about mullet than me, but as far as the mullet's concerned, when I think of a mullet, the first thing I think is just throwing bread in and going mad on the top.
Yeah.
But these fish, when you fish for them with bloodworm, they were almost like fishing for big roach.
And they respond to noise.
Right.
They responded to bosh, the noise of the ball going in bosh. But what we found is when we were practicing during the week, it had a toe on it, didn't it, Will? Do you remember? And we were having to fish this much over depth and hold it still. And then on the first day of the match, I remember I wasn't catching great, and the guy a few pegs down was getting a few. We might have odd fish next to me, and I thought, I'm going to shallow up, and I just shallowed up a little bit, and straight away I started catching.
Less line on the bottom sort of thing.
Yeah, less toe, and I started catching, and so I ended up second in the section, and I thought, that was something that just happened on the day. But as I say, I wish I'd taken notice of what Stu said to me and had another rig set up with heavier line on it. Yeah. When you're fishing for just 2 or 3 bites in the course of 3 or 4 hour match, I think it might have been 4 hours then, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was 3.
3, might have been 3. So then, you couldn't try lots of different things. You had to be patient when you were fishing for
But I can still remember the very first practice day on the Monday,
Yeah.
we didn't all catch a lot. I think, 1 or 2 fish. Don't think Alan caught. I don't think Stu caught. But I can remember Stevie saying to me, we got in the van, started driving back to the hotel, and Stevie said to me, this will be a brilliant match here. The best team will win.
Really?
And I was like, why? He said, well, everyone has had bites. Striking, liners, bites. So there's fish everywhere. And it turned out, if you said to me, what was one of the most technical and maybe fairest venues I've been to, that would probably be up there. Even though Steve didn't do so well the second day, he's already said he's had enough indications and fish and that to me is a mark of a brilliant venue. And there's not many. We've been there. We travelled together there. 2018 was it?
They were very different. It were a lot of little catfish then. There's still an odd mullet, weren't they? I remember you catching them second day. Incredible.
But it's amazing how, someone says something and you're like, I was only, a lot younger then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's going to be a good venue, this, like, what do you mean?
Handful of bites.
Yeah.
But
it turned into being exactly that.
Well, obviously, we're going to come on and talk about lots of different international things while I've got you two sat here. But I've not had Steve on, and I don't know a lot about your early fishing, Steve. I think people would love to know, like, where did it start for you, and how? How did fishing begin for Steve Gardner?
Well, I can't remember I can remember my first fish, but I can remember my grandparents saying we went to Hampton Court when I was about 3, and there was some guys fishing on the river, and for whatever reason, that I was attracted to that, and I don't know whether they got me a stick and a bit of line of something, and I sat there thrashing the water with it. I don't even know if I had any bait on. I can't even remember. And then when I was 5, we moved to Tabworth. I was living at Shannon's Corner near Rains Park at the time, not far from Kingston and the river. But we moved to Tabworth, and there was a pond literally no more than 150 yards from my house, and Marbles Way Pond, and I started going there, and I think I'm trying to think how I fished there, really. I remember making things up to fish with at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went when we were fishing bread, and I remember that there was cruisins in there, and the float would go ding, 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 and I don't know how long this bite took. I caught a cruisin, and I took it home.
Never.
Yeah, and I remember I had it in this bowl on top of the coal bunker. I don't remember what I think.
Obviously, a bowl full of water.
Yeah. I took it back and released it, but and that's where I started fishing there.
Yeah.
And that gave me the bug. Plus, Steve Sanders lived opposite. He lived about 30 yards from the pond, and
wow,
right in front of our school that we went to when we got to 11. But so I used to go there. I remember going there before I went to school in the morning, get up early before and go, fish for a couple of hours at 7 o'clock, come home and things like that. But we fished there all, and then I think in '63 we had a very bad winter, and a lot of fish died. The lakes were frozen for a long time. When they melted, there was all dead fish everywhere. But we still carried on going there. It was full of weed. We used to stand on milk crates out in the water fishing. There's a picture of me in that book on a milk crate. And we used to have to go there in the springtime and clear all the weed so we could fish, make a hole in the weed.
And were it only ever pleasure fishing when you were super young?
Yeah. And then Burheath Pond I used to go to as well. And there was a willow tree, and I'm not sure. Someone said it got struck by lightning. I'm not sure, but it was still alive. But it was laying across the water, and we used to climb out in this because there was a garden there. You used to have to cost you a shilling to fish in this garden, the tea garden.
You're giving your age away now, Steve. Shilling.
Yeah, shilling. Yeah, we didn't have any money, so we used to climb out in the tree and fish into the same spot. And I think there's a picture of Chris Yates. He used to go there when he was a kid as well.
Did he really?
Yeah.
The same pond?
Yeah, Burheath Pond, yeah.
Did you ever see him there, or?
No, I never saw him there. And I remember I caught a goldfish because people used to release them, and I took it home, and I had it in this tank in the back.
Going to get a name as a fish thief on this podcast here, Steve.
And I had it in this tank in my back garden. And to get to my back garden, there was an alley between the houses, just they were semis, but they had an alleyway to go to the right garden and left from my garden. And I'd gone out there, and I looked, my goldfish had gone. And I thought, I'm not going to say his name, but I thought, I know who's had this. And I've gone all the way over to his house, gone in, and he had it in his, and I stole it back. He stole my goldfish.
Who was it? Can you say who it was?
No. All I say is he used to play for Banstead Football Club eventually. But,
right.
He'd come and pinch me goldfish. But yeah, I got it back. Yeah, it was good. It used to be an odd tench as well in some of the ponds and rudd and stuff. But
did you always find it fascinating? Were you interested in depth straight away?
In depth?
Were you into it?
I mean, in them days, you only had 4 sports. There was football, cricket, tennis, and fishing. There was nothing else. No mobile phones, so if I wanted to see if a mate wanted to go fishing or not, I had to cycle around his house and knock on his door. But
and when did it get competitive for you? When did you start to step into sort of the match side of it?
I was at senior school. I was probably 15-ish, somewhere around that, and through another friend of mine, his father and a guy called John Benham, they used to go fishing at a place called Pippinford Park, and I'm not sure what time of the year it was, but they used to go weekdays, so I used to play truant and go with them down to Pippinford Park, and we used to fish there. And he was a match angler. He was probably 6 years older than me, something like that, John, and he fished at Dorking Club, and I started going to I remember our first Dorking match I fished, the river was up, and I drew an upstream MPEG, and I caught a couple of gudgeon, and I thought, I wonder if I'm going to win this. I didn't know what was.
Is that on the Thames or the Mole?
On the Mole.
And it's the same Dorking team that's developed into what Dorking is.
John Bicut was there was Peter Knight, and I think was captain at the time, and I think John did it for a while. But I travelled with John for quite a few years. Also, I used to go night fishing on the Thames at Kingston. I don't know if Canbury Gardens. I don't know if you know it.
I've heard of it.
There's an outflow there from the power station where the warm water used to flow, and we used to fish there up until it got dark, and then we'd sleep on top of. There was a shack with all these chairs. Deck chairs all piled up high, up to the ceiling, and we used to lay on top of them, and the tramps used to be sleeping beside us. We used to sleep there for the night, and when it got light, we'd go back down and start fishing. And I can remember John saying to me, I want to go down to Pulborough, which is because we lived at Tabworth, which is a completely opposite direction, and practice on the river. And he came and picked me up at 8 o'clock in the morning at Kingston, and then we went to Pulborough, and we'd fish like bombs with bread in this in a bit of the river there where it widened out. When I say wide, it was probably about 12 metres, but it seemed, at the time. And anyway, long story. I started to fish an odd competition or two, and I fished the Hardy Cup, which I think it was a Hardy Cup at Pulborough, which is like a 250 pegger. It was part of the Central Association of London and Provincial Angling Clubs. Cowpack, it used to be called.
Wow.
It used to have the LAA and Cowpack.
Big matches.
250, yeah. And I drew this bit where me and John used to practice, and stop them, I couldn't wait to get down there. And I was at the beginning of it, and I couldn't believe it. It was literally, it wasn't much farther than from here to there. And there was a big tree overhanging, and I thought, oh no, what do I do? I thought, well, I'm going to fish the same bait. And I chucked out bread, and I was chucking a ground bait into the tree, so it all came down as a cloud in the water. And anyway, I caught the skimmers, which we were after, not a big weight. I ended up with £5.14 or £5.15, which included a carp and a tench, and I won the match.
A carp and a tench on river?
Yep.
250 pegger and won?
Yep. That's the first match I ever won.
Flipping heck.
And then a week later, I think it was a week later, I fished the Pulborough Carnival, And I won that with £7 of 4 skimmers on a Topper Haskins float, if you remember the name.
Yeah.
On bread, 7 skimmers for £7.
Yeah.
It's like it just all, and that really got me going. Obviously now I'm into it, you know.
And you just match fished ever since then, straight in, kind of deep end really, 250 peggers.
Yeah, I mean in them days I used to start with only had one rod. I think it was an Ivan Marks rod, and it had a screw in on the end for putting a quiver tip or a swing tip on them days. And a centre pin reel. Used to use centre pins then all the time.
They were all big matches back then, though, weren't they?
Oh gosh, yeah, long walks, big matches, yeah.
Yeah, very different to now. Very different. So interesting though.
Yeah, it was. There were some massive matches that we used to fish all the time on the Thames and the Rother. We used to have 100 peggers down there on the Rother. It was some nice days.
Can you remember your first ever match win, Will? Can you remember?
Yeah, I can. Funnily enough, I did an interview with Match Fishing magazine.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that on the way up, and it was about a 70 pegger at Stillwater, and it was the Farnborough's Hospital Cup.
Right.
Yeah, and I had £2.7. Wasn't allowed to go in the pools. Caught a couple of crucians that day.
There was a lot of crucians about there.
Yeah, but what was nice for me with my first match win was I've got a photo at home. My granddad, my dad and me have won that trophy.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So when I won it, I think I was 13, 14.
You have to send us the picture
Oh,
in,
yeah,
and we can put it up on this. That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
I can remember Will used to come down after school and watch the matches at Willow Park.
Yeah.
He used to come down and walk around the bank watching them.
Yeah.
Where did you two originally meet? Like when did you first?
Willow and Gold, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, my first sort of recollection of meeting Steve, obviously, we're brilliant mates now, and we have been for a long time, but there was a time when I didn't know Steve, and it was like I knew of him, and obviously when I was young and getting into it in the south of England, there was like Stevie and Bob
Nod.
Yeah.
Bob,
and Willow Park, probably late 80s, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Early 90s. They used to run a Wednesday league, and it was all bloodworm fishing, caster fishing.
This in winter time.
Yeah, sort of second half of the year, wasn't it?
Tench and bream, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Some perch, yeah.
And obviously I was still at school then, so it would have been late 80s. And obviously they were big matches. There used to be a bookie there, a lot of money to be won. And it attracted all the good anglers. And, Bob would drive from wherever he was living at the time, Essex way. Loads of anglers would come from, and it was like a bit of a who's who. And, I can remember going down after school and sort of, creeping around and just watching.
Keep back, Will. Keep back from the edge.
Yeah, that wasn't the exact words you used to use. No, but, and then, then it just sort of, Steve and Kenny, they started to, your business was Willow Park in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, 95, I think it was, Will.
Yeah.
95, we ran, Kenny and I, we had the shop still, but we started running Willow Park for 10 years,
Yeah.
But I just reminded me, the first, I think this is the first competition that Sky ever filmed was at Willow Park.
Was it really?
Yeah, and it was Dorking versus Essex County.
Yeah.
And Sue Barker was the commentator. She came round and was asking all the questions and
Did you fish it?
Yeah. I actually,
guess who won it?
I wasn't going to say nothing. That Bob was second. He was fishing for Essex County. Yeah, and I remember coming round and asking him the question about what bait I was using, and I didn't use the word caster, and I forget what I called them now. It's the what's it of the fly, and I thought afterwards, is that right? Did I say that? Because I was a bit nervous on camera. But anyway, she went off. But the funny bit about it was on the morning, the camera crew had turned up, and one of them had gone out in the lake to do whatever, and he dropped the camera in, and he had to go on a motorbike and go and get another camera to do the filming. So I think it was all delayed a little bit. But, yeah.
Incredible.
I can remember watching that.
I think I called it the lava.
Yeah, the
It's not
lava.
the caster, it's the lava.
What are you catching on, Steve? Lava.
She was obviously good looking and got you a bit flustered.
Yeah. I'm going to be a bit scientific on this one.
Yeah, I remember watching it. Yeah, you caught some carp late, didn't you? Yeah.
How old would you have been then, Will?
I was definitely still at school. So 15, 14.
Incredible. You touched on, like you say, you used to run Willow Park, Steve.
Yeah.
What was your work career like? Because I've only ever known you when I started match fishing. I used to open magazine, Steve Gardner. You were fishing.
Yeah.
You were there. You were featuring. You were in the England team and everything. You were just deep fishing. But
No.
I'm assuming that life wasn't always, well, I'm going to go fishing every day for you.
No. What used to happen, I used to, I worked 2 days at Willow during the week. I was responsible for 3 days, and Kenny was responsible for 3 days.
This is Kenny Collins.
Yeah. So between us, we paid someone to work one of the days, and I paid out of my wages someone to work one of the days for me, because 2 days I was at the shop. And then I used to work alternate Saturdays in the shop with Steve. But Wednesdays we used to go and fish the competitions all over the place. Where we used to fish then, we used to have the middle. Remember, was it the top 40? Will, do you remember? The top 40. We used to fish. You wouldn't believe it. We fished places like Regent's Park on the canal. The Regent's Canal. We'd fish Lagbrook Grove on the canal. Can you imagine trying to drive in the middle of London and park now?
No, can't even imagine it.
No.
Cannot imagine it.
I remember.
You wouldn't be able to do it.
No, definitely not.
I remember one year I nearly brought it. I should have brought it really. It's a very old trophy that it was given to. I don't know who they gave it to. It was by the mayor of Hammersmith. He donated a trophy. It's called the Hammersmith Open. And it was. I can't remember the name on the cup now. But anyway, I've got it at home, and basically he donated it for a competition, and it was fished on the lower Thames, on the tidal Thames, below Richmond, and a woman won. It was 7 ounces, the first one. But Pat Newman, who wrote the book, he's done an article about this cup. You'll probably be able to find it somewhere, and it's been going for years and years. I was looking at it. Started in 1955, and I know Ray Mumford won it 4 times, and Andy Love's won it. Quite a few people you probably wouldn't know, but I remember from years ago.
I've heard Ray Mumford spoke about a lot. A lot of people talk about him in this room.
He was a big influence early doors for me, because he was one that everyone looked up to.
What did he? I don't know if I'm right or wrong in saying it, but I will. But some people say he had some strange ways about the way he went around.
He always
things.
fished in a tie.
Yeah.
He always turned up with a tie, like the school tie, the ones that like little knots all the way down.
Yeah, it was Kevin who spoke about him. Kevin Ashurst, yeah.
He used to turn up in a tie. But he also was one of the first to fish poles, and he used to fish the one with a crook on the end with elastic in it from the French head. I don't know if you ever saw him.
Never saw that.
It was like a bit that attached on the end of your pole that went out and it dropped down, and he had the elastic running through it. He was one of the, and also he had all rigs in his box, which no one else did in them days. We used to all make it up on the bank. But there's the reason I was brought up about that cup. What happened? Funny, it was Robin Morley as well. I didn't have a match. I phoned Robin, who lived in Reading, I believe, at the time, before he became he was managing director of Diver, wasn't he? UK. Yeah. I phoned up to see if there's one on the Thames up. He said no. He said, I'm going to the Regent's Canal in London. I went, oh dear. Never been there. He said, I said, trouble is I haven't got any joker. He said, I'll get you some. I said, you sure, Robin? He said, yeah, I'll get you some. Anyway, we've gone down there and I've drawn, and I can't remember where I drew now. It's opposite the zoo. And Robin's brought me my joker. I opened it up. It's all in peat. And the only places we've been fishing it was in Grey Leam.
Okay.
How can I fish that in Grey Leam? I can't do it. And Lenny Goodwin was a couple of 3 pegs down. I said, Lenny, have you got any ground bait? He said, yeah, I've got a couple. So he gave me the 2 bags of ground. Anyway, I mixed it all up and I threw the whole lot in. Bosh. I won the match.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Yeah, and I won the match.
And that's that trophy, that cup.
Yeah, and I've got it at home. I should have brought it. I nearly did. And,
You brought loads of stuff. You can't bring that at all.
well, the funny was, it was a bit tarnished as well, and I tried to clean it out, and I thought, no, I'll leave it.
Right.
But then, and it's never been fished for since. So I've still got the trophy. It goes from 55 to 87. Yeah.
But also,
unreal.
you've got an engineering background, haven't you? That's what a lot of people don't know. They just think
So it's
it
Bob.
was the shop and...
Yeah. Well, I always remember you and Steve Sanders had Casey angling, but that's as early as I know what you ever did, Steve.
88, I think we went into Casey Angling.
And
I did.
What did you do before that?
Well, when I left school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, to be honest. I did take my O-levels, but I only passed one because I spent too much time fishing, probably. and that was in metalwork.
Right.
And I quite like being draftsman, doing that as well. And I applied for a few jobs, but no good. And then I got an apprenticeship at the British Aircraft Corporation in Weybridge. And where I lived in Tabworth, I used to have to get a bus to Surbiton, then a train from Surbiton, then walk a mile. And I'll tell you how much I earned. I was earning 3 weeks of the month, they paid me £4.50. And the fourth week, because it was over £4.50, I'd get £5. And then, but I was spending £3 of that travelling. So I didn't have any money. And
So you're basically going to work
Yeah.
to spend the money that you were earning.
there was 104 first-year apprentices in this, it was always just an apprentice building. I remember I saw the last VC-10 take off from there. Do you remember the VC-10?
No, not that's before my time.
The racetrack, what was the name of the racetrack there, Will? Brooklands. Racetrack where they used to race, years ago, like Ferrari cars and that. And in the middle of between that, there's a runway, and we used to race the scooters down the runway at lunchtime. Just for something to do, I remember falling off once as well. But so I worked there for 6 months, and then an opportunity came up at an engineering company in Lower Kingswood.
Yeah.
And I was going to earn 6 guineas, which is £6, 6 shillings a week. And I thought, I've got to do that. And then I'd been there a while, a couple of years, and then Steve Sanders, another friend of ours, we decided we're going to leave home, and we rented a flat in Epsom, which my mother used to live in because my parents split up when I was 10. And we started, and that's when Steve got the fishing bug back because he'd stopped for a bit, and he started coming to the matches and that with me. I think at the time, I know he was a baker for a while, and then I think he was a milkman. And then I found after a while there was a job arrived at JA and MF Engineering, was who I worked for, but they started a company up called Janny Jack, which did industrial cleaning equipment. And Steve came and worked there, and he was the manager of the sewing room with all the sewing machines and whatever. So obviously our paths. Eventually I moved out of there, the flat, so same as Steve, and I moved into a flat above where I worked, and they let me stay there rent free for 2 years. I saved up, and that was my first mortgage.
Wow.
I managed to get a house from that. But yeah.
What's fascinating is, obviously I know Steve Sanders quite well, and I never realised you and him have been so close, and obviously Will does as well.
Yeah.
But you've literally been so close for so long.
And our wives are best friends from school. So
Is Carol in it, Steve's
Carol,
wife? Yeah, I know Carol.
She sees Carol quite a bit. I don't see much of Steve at all now because he does a different circuit to me, and he doesn't live near where I live. But our history goes back a long way. And then I worked there, I think, after 10 years, I was a toolmaker, obviously. I became workshop manager for 10 years. So I was in charge of the whole of the workshop. And Steve then became, I'm not sure if he was sales manager for Janny Jack. They moved down towards Dorset way, Devon that way. And Steve worked there for quite a few years after I left and got in the shop. And then Kenny decided he wanted to sell his share in the shop, and Steve bought it. So our paths crossed all the time. Yeah.
And so how did you end up running Casey Angling? Because it were you and Steve Sanders when
in the end, me and Kenny to start with, and then it was Steve, because Steve bought Kenny out, and Steve was in there for quite a few years as well.
Got you.
And then like everywhere in our area, especially the London area, the population changed for a start, and a lot of the people that were moving don't go fishing, and our clientele dropped. Plus, they started putting parking restrictions up everywhere, so customers couldn't stop to come in the shop and whatever. And after obviously it was going down. It did go right up. We had a real good business for a bit, and then no youngsters coming into the sport. And it was noticeable for me, mostly at Christmas time, actually, because when I first went in there, people used to come in and parents and say, "Oh, I want to buy vouchers for my child." Yeah, for my child for Christmas, you know. And then after Christmas, they'd come in and spend it. And when the time we left, those children had grown up, and they were coming in buying vouchers for their dad.
No.
And you knew then it was going backwards, you know. So we got to a stage where it was going to go, but we didn't have any debt. We cleared everything out. Plus, we were fortunate we bought the property and we managed to sell that. So we came out with a little, you know, a bonus, if you like, and that's basically it. I've been retired ever since that start. We stopped in 2015. So
What were it like running a shop from a fishing point of view? Was it useful? Like, obviously, there's Steve, you're in this busy shop. Did that allow you to do the fishing you wanted to do?
Yeah, because we as I say, we used to rotate Saturdays and whatever, I did with Kenny as well. I think Kenny. I'm not sure if I did with Steve now. I can't remember exactly. Too much fishing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to do quite a bit of work. But I mean, when I first moved in there on a Friday night, we used to be open till 8.
In the tackle shops?
Yeah, and we had all the match anglers in there all chatting and laughing and coffees, tea, another tea. And
like a social.
Yeah.
So you can't beat the atmosphere in the tackle shop.
No, you can't, can you?
It's almost like the pub, you know? You got your regulars. And
when I was engineer, I used to have, used to start at 8, 10-minute tea break in the morning, half hour for lunch, 10 minutes in the afternoon, finish at 7, 4 days a week, 8 till 7, 2 weeks holiday a year. That's it. That's what we had in those days.
And you had to work your fishing round that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting to hear though, because I think a lot of people just think people like yourself, you just go fishing.
Exactly. I mean, you know, I obviously know Steve and his background, and that's why I said, you know, about the engineering, because a lot of people wouldn't know. But going on to the tackle shop, obviously Steve was, you know, the owner and involved with it and that, but I don't think Steve realised, probably do, but the sort of aura around that shop. You know, I can remember being like 13, 14 in our shop, and like guys were like, "Oh, guess where we're going tomorrow?" It's like, where?
It's only small shop.
Oh, we're getting the train up to Casey Angling. And I'm like,
that's Ken Collins.
Casey Angling? What
Really?
Yeah. And they'd come back with this and that, and oh yeah, Stevie was in the shop, and you're like, you don't realise the anglers, the sort of aura attached to that shop, you know, and then little things like, you know, the Casey Ranger floats, the carper ones you bought out, and little things like that. It just
groundbreaking. Even when I started match fishing, it was a massive thing. Casey Angling, the floats.
They made by Silla, you know.
Yeah.
You know where they come from.
Yeah.
Oh, it was always this thing like the Normark Norboron rods, and Casey Angling used to do them with out the cork, just the real seat, and that was like the
creme de la creme.
Oh yeah, if you had one of them, you were the man, you know. And I can always remember a lad used to work in our shop. He went up and bought one, and he come back, and it was just like
showing it everywhere.
Yeah, it was like having the golden fleece there, you know.
Beautiful. Do you still do some work in shop now, don't you, Will?
Yeah, I love it, mate, to be honest. Obviously, it's like the family business. I do 2 days a week there. I like the atmosphere. We've got a lot of lovely regulars, you know, that not only come to fish, but just to use the shop.
Yeah.
And I like it, mate. You know, when I was younger, I never used to enjoy working in the shop and that. It was always a bit of a... But as I've got older, you know, I do really enjoy the atmosphere.
Brilliant.
You know, you get to speak.
You don't have to travel far either, do you?
No, it's not too bad in the morning.
Yeah.
I used to have to do 16 mile, and it took me an hour every time in the morning to get to work.
An hour to do 16 miles?
Going into London. I'm south of the M25, so I have to go up. And I can remember one morning, I used to go to, say, the shop twice a week, and Willow twice a week. And I've gone up and I have to go over the M25 to go to the shop in Sutton. And for some reason, I turned left to go to Willow, and I'm on the M25 going in the wrong way. I've had to go all the way down to Leverhead in the traffic, turn around and come back. I just got confused with the days.
That's hard to believe. This is a man that would get you out of Paris just by using the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Like you two, I don't know if either of you will have one, but when I think of tackle shops, when I used to work in them as a little Saturday lad and what have you, and every now and again we'd have an odd disaster. Did you ever have anything go wrong, or have any of you ever had a nightmare in the shop with things like bait or something happening, or did ever anything go pear-shaped?
You got the shed incident, haven't you? At KC.
Shed?
With Tommy and that out the back. When he was burnt.
Oh, yeah, he set fire to it. Oh, burnt, yeah.
Come on, he's laughing.
He knows more about the story than I can remember, I'm sure, Will.
All I remember is Kenny, or you said to him, can you get rid of all that rubbish out the back, all the cardboard boxes?
Right.
And Tommy Illia he should be on Jack and Ori. He tells the best stories. And basically, he's like, started this bonfire and he's gone to make himself a coffee and he's come back.
Oh, yeah.
And like the wooden shed's like half alive. The next thing there's like fire engines.
All Charlie's rod making material, everything in there, yeah. But the funny one, Tommy came, there's a youngster there, and I told you this morning, Kenny's hilarious, Kenny. He's non-stop.
Oh, yeah.
Non-stop. And Tommy used to be terrible. He's always late, and he turned up late. Right, bent him over the counter, took his shoe off and gave him the slipper.
No, did he really?
Yeah, don't be late again.
This is Tommy Illia.
Yeah.
Is he still fishing plenty, Tommy?
Yeah, I saw him
yeah.
last week. I've seen him the last few weeks, actually, Tommy.
He's lovely, but bloody good angler he is, isn't he?
Very,
Great
very good.
angler. Yeah.
Well, he started at a young age as well, Tom. Yeah.
Again, a lot of people won't know that. You know, how old was he when he started?
16 at the shop.
Yeah.
And he was the maggot boy. And we had 2 walk-in fridges, and in the summer we'd do 300 gallon a week.
That's a lot of maggots.
3 deliveries we used to have.
300
Thursday,
gallon.
Sometimes we have to get another delivery for Saturday morning, and then again on Monday because we'd run out. Yeah.
It were always a treat. When I first went away with the England youth team, Steve Sanders used to bring castor maggots.
Yeah.
And we couldn't believe, as northerners, he'd give us these castors and we'd be like, flipping it. They're like baked beans, like great big chunks of sawdust in them. Like, we'd never seen castors like it.
What's the name of the breeder, Will? I forgot.
So you had Ouse Valley.
Ouse Valley, yeah. Ouse Valley maggots are the ones.
Yeah, still going now. That's who we get our bait off.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they're the best, definitely. Biggest maggots, freshest.
Yeah.
That's something I can't believe is not took off in England, is when you go abroad, Will knows, in Italy and whatever, you get these little tubs of massive maggots. You must have seen them.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Why can we not? I've bred them years ago. I mean, when I first started going with John Benham, to give you an idea, gozzers was the thing.
What, like homebred?
Yeah.
Out of pigs' hearts.
Sounds dodgy.
Yeah. So I used to breed them, and then on the way to the match, I'd be sitting in the passenger seat and I'm having to pick them out for hookers, and the smell. This was the hook bait for the day, you know. And what we used to get occasionally, we get them great big uns, and I realised it's not the blue bottle. When you see a blue bottle shape, but they got dots on their back, that's that fly. And there are not many of them, but you see them occasionally. And obviously we used to get pinkies, the green ones as well, you know. But that was my job, to pick the maggots out on the way to the match.
Out of the pig's hearts.
That's rotten.
That's terrible. I don't know if I could do
2
it.
years ago on the Gloucester Canal National, when I won my section, gozzers.
That's what you
Because
call
my dad, if I mention gozzers, it's like, oh, don't. And he's got this, you know, it's almost like he needs to do it, he wants to do it, and there's like this routine of getting the blows and this, that and the other, and I've got to go and get some bran and this, that and the other. And on that Gloucester Canal, he did me a couple of lots, and you know, 2 bits of a redworm and a gozzer. Just unbelievable.
That was Ivan. I'm sure that was
Wow.
Ivan Marks that started off the gozzers.
What's so special about them compared to a normal maggot?
So soft.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing, though, Matt, is we used to fish like 18 hooks, 2 little maggots, and for skimmers and bream. You go to the reservoirs now, they got a size 12 on with 4 or 5 maggots on. And you think, well, Why we used to be so. Well, we'll remember when we used to go to Bow Beach in the deep water. These bream like this. You used to follow the feeder down, didn't you? When I remember you did it. You did something one day, and when you just had your hook bait sticking that far out, and I think you won the match doing it. And I tried doing it, and I found that because you've got the feeders packed tight and deep water to make sure it got the bottom, it hit the bottom, and your rod would go around and they snap you off because of the weight of the feeder. Yeah. And we started putting elastic through the feeder coming out the bottom. So when they did it. But we was fishing like
and now method feeder works really well there.
Now we used to fish
carried on from it, but
we used to fish 10, 11 hook lengths and things like that, didn't we? 1 point, and now they're fishing like 15 hook lengths.
Do you think back then, if you'd have fished how we fish now, you'd have caught more, or do you think that you had to fish lighter then?
I think it wouldn't have made any difference. I think it would have been the same, Will. I just think it was the way we were brought up, to think that you got. Because when we first started fishing the Thames for dace and that, we were fishing like 20 hooks, and in the end we're fishing 16s because we were missing so many bites. We were under, and 16s they couldn't spit it out as quick.
You got to remember in my early fishing, and Steve's, obviously fish, but 3/6 Bayer was about the heaviest line I ever had.
Yeah.
You'd never fish that because it's miles too heavy.
1/7. 1/7, 2/6.
Yeah.
Fishing for chub on the far side of the Thames. 2/6 was like, you fished heavy.
Really?
I can remember when I used to fish the Lod, and the loop where we used to have top 40s and that. But before I joined Dorking, when we were fishing like club matches and that, there, your barbel rod would be £4 maximum main line, and there was some big, £8 fish in there. But like you're going for it, Rod, the one that you're going to rip trees up with was be £4 maxima and a 3/6 Bayer hook length.
Yeah.
And you get them out.
You get some out. You definitely used to lose a few.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
it's definitely a thing now, innit? We fish a lot more. It's probably commercials that have done it because we realise what we can get away with, I suppose.
Where did commercials start?
I don't know. You can tell me. Probably. Well, I mean, when did you first do it?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think Steve Sanders thought he did. It would have been. I'm just trying to think. About 76, 1981, 82, somewhere around that period. I used to live in Earlswood, and there was a farm near me called Nutfield Priory. And they used to do a pick your own.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, they did a pick your own strawberries or whatever thing. And I went there with the wife and I think my son at the time, and I saw this lake, Priory Lake, and I looked at it and there was all these like carp in there and that. And we never had carp fisheries then. If you caught an odd carp now and again, I don't know how, but I bumped it. I found the manager. I had his name the other day. And he was South African, but he was the manager there.
Yeah.
And I spoke to him, and he said, well, at the moment, we rent the fishing out to a local club, £200 a year. So I said, all right. I said, what would be the chance of having some competitions on there? And he said, I'll think about it, I'll come back to you. Anyway, he came back to me. So he said, yeah, if you want to do it. I can't remember how much it was a peg then. So I started doing, you laugh at this, the first weekend of the season, 2 matches on the Saturday, 5 hours each.
On the same day?
Yeah, and the next day, 2 matches on the Sunday. And we started catching carp. And I think the biggest weight we ever had was about £70. But in them days, there was nothing like that. If you won a match on the Mole, for example, with double figures, they named the peg after you. So it was, and I used to get Nuddy came down, Pete Clapperton, they used to come out regular. I think even Downsy come down from Birmingham, Vic Bush from Bristol. They all come down from all over to fish on there because it was like unheard of. So we used to fish one match from 8 in the morning, draw at 6 or 6:30, fish 8 till 1, then we stop for lunch, then carry on, then 3 till whatever, 8 in the afternoon, redraw, not the same peg.
That's unreal, isn't it? Can you
And
remember that venue, Will?
I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah.
But that was at the real start of my.
They had another lake. They had built another lake there, which I think it was they used it for the farming the water, you know, they put some carp in there, and they were all young, and they brought them on. I've got a video to show you actually. I'll show you it later, where I went there with my granddaughter.
Yeah.
And there was a guy fishing. There's a little jetty that went out on this lake we used to fish.
Right.
And you could buy pellets and feed the carp. So I said, come on, we'll get some. And there was a guy sitting there fishing a waggler. He just sat there, nothing happening. We threw these pellets in, and you couldn't see the water.
For carp.
They couldn't even get back in the water. I'll show you this video. They're all on each other's backs, with mouths all like this, all over the top. Yeah.
And he weren't catching any?
No.
So it's still there now, this lake?
Yeah, but there was a club that had it, and now it's not. But they started building. They're going to build lodges around it, like they've done on. I think since COVID, because a lot of people started up fishing, there was nothing else for them to do. But fishing was allowed. A lot of younger guys bought carp rods and a chair and they built lodges around some of these lakes now. And you know, where we used to go at Sumners is all lodges around one of the lakes. They rent them out.
Pub type thing.
Yeah. It's getting popular now, that sort of thing. Really popular.
So that's what they're doing there, you know. But,
you've seen, I mean, you both have, and you're talking about is Knutsford Priory, it's called. Nutfield Priory. That must have been a very early commercial. And how have you seen that progress? Because I mean, Will's owns Gold Valley and runs Gold Valley, and you two have both seen commercial fishing. What's that journey been like from everything we've spoke about so far, very natural based, and now you're saying, you know, you pretty much exclusively go commercial fishing? Well, what's that journey been like?
At the beginning it was slow, but then I think as the age of the angler got older in general as well, and the limited amount of parking on rivers and what have you, I think plus as you get older you need the loo a bit more. So commercials have got toilets and also facilities like yours, tackle shop, cafes, all, and it's and platforms. Whereas when you look at some of the places we used to fish, I thought, how the hell did I get down there and stood in the water all day, you know? And that's what we used to do years ago. So I think from a facility point of view, the commercials have been a big bonus. It's a shame in some respects that it's changed on the rivers, but that was going to happen anyway. We've been just fortunate that we moved at the right time, I believe. Yeah. And obviously there's lots of farmers had fields with lakes in which they use for irrigation purposes or whatever, and suddenly they could open them up and and then more lakes got built and it's just gone, it's spiraled from there.
I always foresee you guys, I'm not blowing smoke to your way here, but when up north our gang were getting into commercial fishing, the Super League were on, I were coming into fishing, I always saw you two in particular, the Dorking team, as the better carp anglers. You knew what to do commercial fishing before other people. Why do you think that were?
Nutfield Priory.
Really?
I do, yeah. I think Belingi was similar time, because I can remember Heapsy catching £160 at Belingi, and I'm thinking, cool, they're catching some proper weights there. But what happened, the Dorking lads, we were all fishing Nutfield Priory basically, and we were learning to fish shallow with maggots, spraying them, catching them on, and I think then they started having like Winter League finals at Mallory Park, and we did dominate, and I think we had an edge because we were used to that type of fishing.
Broadwater, used to fish places like that.
Yeah, and then we went, and then White Acres as well. Obviously, we were going down there.
What were the methods you guys were using during early commercial fishing compared to now? What were the crack?
Maggots,
yeah.
Maggots.
Loose feed. Take a gallon of maggots and loose feed, and basically fish on and around it, and sometimes a little maggot feeder over the top.
Then the other thing that got developed down our way was the M-Stat feeder.
The method feeder, basically.
Nicky Ems and Ken Staton. I think that was developed at Hever Castle.
Right.
They used to fish there. I might be wrong, but from my memory, I could tell you a little story about this actually. Did you remember what the M-Stat looked like?
Was that the coconut feeder
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
mould it around?
Just
Yes.
like a black frame.
Yeah.
And
I can remember that.
They developed that, and we had a final in, I can't think it was in Sweden or Denmark, and we were fishing against Barnsley.
Yeah.
And Cleggy was fishing, Tommy, Dennis, Keith, Upson, the whole lot, Ivan.
Yeah, Ivan Mark.
And we thought, how are we going to beat them there? And I don't know how we got the info, but we started practicing with the M-Stat feeder range fishing, right? And I remember going to Gold Valley. And I remember Dave Hurry cast from the steps to the island 30 whatever.
Yeah.
Do you remember? How far's that?
Long.
It's getting
A
on for
long
100
way.
yards, isn't it?
Oh, easily.
Yeah, and we're like, wow. So we went to Berry Hill and we were practicing. There was Lasher.
Yeah,
Bullet
yeah.
was there. Bullet was fishing.
Yeah.
And we were, anyway, we've gone to this venue. I don't know if we practiced or not. And I remember Andy Love, because we were trying to fire ball, he couldn't fire. He pulled a catapult back and he made this thing to support his arm so that so he could pull his catapult. And he drew next to Ivan. I'm pretty sure he was next to Ivan.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember who I was next to now, but the whistle went and we've all gone. And the Barnsley lads all fished like conventional distance. And I think after an hour, it was either 21 or 22 bream to 2 up.
So you were wazzing it.
Yeah, and we beat them. Yeah, and that was the M-Stat feeder. There,
I can still remember the first time, and it was Kenny at Broadwater.
Yeah,
I drew on I could only have been 12 or 13, but I drew on the rugby bank, and he drew on the road bank.
Yeah, the road. Yeah,
And this lad come around and said, I don't know what that Kenny Collins is using, but he's catching a few carp. And I'm like, how many has he had? He's like 10. And I can remember he was over there and I'm watching him and this thing's landing. It's like, boom, like that. And I put my rod down and walked round.
yeah.
He's casting his ball out and he won the match. And it was the first time I've ever seen anything like method feedery or...
Who was the carp angler, Will, that used to come into your shop? Well-known local carp angler.
Ian Chilcott.
No,
Um,
going back a few years now. I'm sure he got Kenny on it, and I think the method was developed at Mallory.
I know, I think, yeah.
I think it got developed at Mallory. That was like an abbreviation of the M-Stat. It was changed slightly.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been Andy Finley who might have even been done it. Someone up at there in Roy Marlowe or someone, they developed it. And this carp angler told Kenny, and that's where Kenny got it and started using it at Broadwater. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys down here definitely forged the way for commercial fishing. 100%. And there's always been this thing where southern anglers seem to fish a bit more positive than northern anglers. Is that definitely a thing that you guys have seen coming
I
through?
haven't really noticed it, to be fair. Not really. You might.
I think good anglers adapt and feed how they've got to feed. But Stevie, he probably didn't realise at the time, but he was the most aggressive angler. As far as feeding.
Really?
The first time I ever drew next to Steve on the Thames, he's just like raining in bait. It's just got I just never had any fish.
You know
left
why
in it.
though, Will? I had a tackle shop. I didn't cost me nothing.
Yeah, that's it. But that was the sort of when it was maggots, casters, and as you all know, even these days, if you fish with maggots, casters, worms, you can feed a lot more. They get eaten, they get crunched, they're not in your peg, they don't turn into like pellets, turn into ground bait, or
rot on the bottom.
you can get in a
almost.
right mess, and it the positive sort of style fishing, but it all spirals right back to what Stevie's been saying about Nutfield and Broadwater.
Yeah.
A gallon of maggots just wouldn't last you a 5-hour match. You'd use that in a 3-hour match.
Isn't it amazing how you are talking about the early commercial fishing you used to do? A lot of maggots, fishing shallow, on it, around it, and then I look at what's happening in the top end commercial matches now, Fishermanias, match this like Tunnel Barn, and Now the crack is either a lot of maggots or a lot of casters. Raining. It's actually not that different.
You know, so many people now in commercial fishing think taking a volume of casters is quite a new thing.
Yeah.
I can remember being up at midnight running casters off. We used to take 15 pints each to like places like Hayford in Northampton.
Yeah. The big snake
I can remember it was the night before the
Barnsley floating pole.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah.
I can't remember that.
Yeah. We'll get on to that.
We get.
Come on.
I can remember the night before the Browning Masters, which used to be an event match fishing used to run.
Yeah.
And you used to have to win something big to get invited. And me and Stevie both got invited, and it was at Hayfield. Is it Hayford?
Hayford. Northampton.
Northampton, that's the one, yeah.
And
Snake
I can
Lake.
remember running these casters off at about 10:30. I'm thinking, got like 10 or 12 pints each. And I rang Steve. And I said, you know, like we've got 10 or 12, but that's not enough. Leave them out. Run. And I can remember leaving the maggots out, going back at like 4:30 in the morning, running them off again, then going to the match.
And that were the crack then? A lot of casters, loose feeding?
Yeah, 12, 14 pints.
And what did you fish shallow then? Did you fish on the bottom?
Yeah. You won the match, Will, didn't you? And I was third, I think.
Yeah.
And
what were the crack? What were the edge?
Being aggressive with bait.
I think being familiar with carp. That's being, you know, we had that fishing for them for a few more years than the guys further north, and that gave us a big advantage. It's a bit like I was saying earlier about when you're going to commercials now, you've got to keep going to the same place, otherwise you're out of it. So when the carp started to move further north, we had that advantage going onto these venues. We might bring our tactics to their venue, and if it worked, then we had a big advantage. You know,
you guys really dominated in the Super League, didn't you? That was the event to win. I think there's probably not been many UK events that standard, the versatility of the venues it used to be at. How many times did Dorking win that?
I can't. I think we won it 3 years on the trot at
Whiteacres.
Yeah, I think we won it 4 years on the trot at one stage, but I think 8 or 9 times.
Ridiculous.
You know, but the thing is, then the team we had was just, you know, it's a bit like the Barnsley team of this era. It was like a who's who, and if you get a quarter of a chance, you're not getting beat.
Who was it? Who was the team then?
So it's me, you, Des, Ben Leach, Grant Albert, Steve Sanders, yeah.
Flipping heck.
You know, you got just so many. Steve Mayo,
yeah.
You know, just anglers that were just fishing.
What's his name? Bulldog?
Bullet, he was still in it up to John Merritt.
John Merritt. No, the other one. Bookwalder. Yeah. He was there.
Yeah.
He was there. Yeah, but sorry.
Bookwalder.
I'm not very good at remembering people's names.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and we won a few at Whiteacres. We won a couple at Thirsk. The first one I fished, the first day was on the Neem, and the second day was at what's the one? Castle Ashby.
Oh yeah. Is that one John Larriman won the match? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a dominant era.
Yeah,
that was ridiculously dominant.
Oh yeah, John Larriman was fishing. And Lenny Goodwin.
Yeah. But
incredible.
going back, it's just like the names, isn't it? Glenfleet, Stu Beresford.
Yeah.
You know, Stu Beresford at Nutfield was really good. And then you see his performances when the team went to Mallory Park and that. It's just ridiculous.
Sorry about this. I've got a picture of it on here on my phone, which Robin Morley sent me just before we came away.
Yeah.
If I can get it up there.
Because Robin used to fish with Dorking as well.
Yeah, Robin Morley.
Yeah,
he used to fish them all.
Yeah. He'd be a good one to get on a podcast.
Yeah.
Robin, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I hope I haven't lost it.
This is not going to be another beard story, is it, Steve? This the search for
just
Steve's
give him an
beard.
hour and he'll find it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Oi!
Yeah, I will. I'll let you look at it first, and you see if you can name them.
Flipping
That
heck.
is the final of the. What was the name of the cup?
Look at
We
Will.
fished in Spain.
Hardy Bitter. Is it the
Embassy?
Hardy Bitter?
No, we fished against
Right, I've
down in the northwest, wasn't it?
Tommy Ilias. That's Tommy.
Yeah.
Definitely Tommy.
You had Matchman Supplies and Drennan Northwest and us. I'm sure it was Hardy Bitter.
Clearly Will. Definitely had a pint. Stevie G. Steve Sanders.
Look at Steve's face looking at Robin shouting, look.
Robin Morley.
Yeah, look at Steve's look.
Robin Morley's got a tash there, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Wow.
Robin. Yeah.
Right, and then
That's Steve's boy,
Michael.
Yeah. Terry Harrison.
Terry.
Gary Pook.
Is that Pookie?
Pookie, yeah.
Look at Pookie. That is brilliant. I'll put this on, Tobe. I'll put this on screen so people can see, because there's some... And then who's that there then?
Which one? Simon Wheeler.
Simon Wheeler.
Is it?
Yeah.
Flipping heck.
He's another one. Used to fish all the...
I'll tell you a funny story about that.
That's a great
That was
photo,
on
that.
the reservoir that runs into the Ebro, wasn't it, Will?
Yeah.
And on the first day, I remember we were fishing on these groins. They'd made these groins go out into the water. And we were sitting on, and they're quite steep when they go down at an angle. And I'm looking, I see Tommy's playing. Oh, he's got a good one on there. The next minute, he's climbing down the bank. I see him trying to net it. I thought, what's he doing?
Who's this, Tommy Illier?
Tommy Elliott. And he's caught a catfish. And he's thrown it over his shoulder. And he's climbed back up the bank. Well, I think it was 48 pounds.
Yeah.
In a match?
Yeah, it's the biggest one ever in a match.
Yeah.
And that was like unbelievable. But the next day, we had the second day of the competition, and Dave Hurry was a little bit down below me, and I see him playing this. I think, what you got there, Dave? He said, I think it's a catfish. He's playing like this, and all of a sudden, and the kettle's come up on the surface.
Kettle?
Big metal kettle.
Full of water, of course. As he's pulling it in, it's going bonk, bonk, like a fish. So he thought he had a catfish as well. Yeah.
Incredible. What was Whiteacres like for you boys? Because you were dominant there. I know obviously you spoke about it on your podcast. I remember first ever Whiteacres festival I went on. You won. What was that like? And was that a place that
you
played an important part?
You couldn't have been much more than 16.
I was 16, 1991.
I took
Yeah, you took me. I couldn't drive.
I picked him up at your house. Didn't I?
Yeah.
We used to go down, and we had one of the vans there, caravan things to share and whatever. But it was the good old days when we used to have Porth Reservoir in as well.
Grenier, Belingi. All of them.
Yeah,
that was the place to go.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we had some good times down there. The weights weren't huge, but there was.
And that was the thing. I think those Super League finals there came at the right time for us, because we'd been fishing it a lot. You knew the pegs, you knew what to do.
Yeah.
And it just, but I can remember one year we went down there. I'm sure I could drive, because I stayed with you the first week, and then I stayed on for another week.
Oh, right.
And all of a sudden, like Gold Valley just turned into firing ground baiting and sticky mag and fishing those Milo Wagners. What were they called? Doodlebugs.
I remember this. Yeah.
And it's all we were doing at Willow.
12 grand, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I can remember we went to Whiteacres. No one's got any sticky mag or, like gallons of maggots and this, that and the other. And we just took it apart. Like, just wherever you drew, even like where it wasn't that wide, you just fired sticky mag in. And
I think we
That's
came back.
awesome.
We came back one year. I think me and you both were on Gold Lake, and you had 100, and you beat me. We both had over 100 pound fishing big wagglers out. Yeah.
There were quite a dominant era where that were a thing, weren't they? And what were the reason behind it? Same thing, positivity, bait, noise.
Distance and aggressive. You just fish at distance. Yeah.
Learning that, fishing, the sticky mag, learning that fishing abroad, and then bringing it into the UK. It will.
But at that time, you see, I hadn't fished abroad. But this is where my fishing, I was at such an advantage, because I feel like trying sticky mag. Get in the car, go round to Willow Park, Steve's there. He'd been fishing in Italy and Portugal, all his international experience. Right, this is how you do it.
Showed you, and you've got it in your locker.
Yeah.
It did work though, didn't it?
Oh,
You had a spell at Larford doing it, didn't you?
It was great until the ducks twigged.
And what happened then?
Every time we fired a ball out, the ducks would go
diving in. I bet that it was difficult for and I don't want to sound condescending here, but it's not a method that the masses can master.
No.
It's a difficult method to fish, that is. It's technical. You've got to be able to cast. You've got to be able to fire bait accurately. You've got to be good with a rod and line. And I don't feel like there's much of that anymore in commercial fishing.
No.
The one that always amazes me when I fished in Italy with the sticky mag was when they fish it on the pole, firing it out on a pole. And they start, say, just on the edge of the ground bait. And as the match progresses, the Crasio in particular, they go further out, so they fish a longer line and they swing out, but they're firing little balls of sticky bait. If I fired them, they'd be going 20 metres, 12 metres, but they're so accurate. They go pop in the same spot, right on the float. It's amazing to see, but they do it all the time out there, firing little, you've probably seen it, won't you? Firing little balls of sticky bait. It's hard enough to get it the right texture. They've all got the old corn flour, haven't they?
Never mind firing it on your float.
But you are right, there's, back in those sort of times, you had such an advantage if you knew, because, being aggressive at a distance, a lot of people would throw in bait in the edge, and a lot of places you go, they'd fish a pole float on a rod, and and just throw maggots. That's fine if the fish come in. But, places like Whiteacres and Gold and Larford, like you just said, if you went there with like a gallon of sticky mag and a bucket full of ground bait, no one else would do it, and you ended up with all the fish in your peg. And
because you can dominate,
coupled with the fact that we'd fish heavy, big hooks, heavy mainline, and we had the floats, and you're doing something you do every week. So for quite a long time we had a big advantage at that style of fishing.
Wouldn't it be nice to see a bit more of that come into commercial fishing nowadays? Because it seems so pole dominated, overshotted rigs, and nothing against any of it. But as an angler, I have genuinely got so much appreciation for rod and line work, being able to fish a long way, accuracy with things like firing balls. I think that's a little bit lost in today's commercial world. I really do.
100%.
I still think there's places for it. I was talking to Terry Malloy yesterday. Like when you go on these reservoirs now, people spod, don't they? Or no one fires balls of ground bait out.
No, they don't.
And my view, maybe not everybody's view, but when you're trying to attract a shoulder bream into your peg, it's a shoal. You don't want them all on a tanner. It's like on a pole. You don't want them all there because you spook the lot. You catch one, so you want an area, don't you?
Yeah.
And I always remember years ago talking, I think it was Ivan that said he had this, or I might have read about it, he had a plan where he had a north, south, east and west, right, where he used to fish. He'd cast there and catch a, then he'd go there and he'd go there. And I thought, how does he know how to feed? Now I thought, that's gone too far. That's gone to the left, that's gone to the right. So now he's got an area where he's fed, and he would, so that he'd always keep fishing the area rather than spooking them on. And I just think sometimes maybe places like Bell Beach and that, it's possible that I was, firing balls out. You get your bait out there early, you've laid the table, you're not wasting time spotting, you can fish short past it if you want, and then you can come on it and it's all down. And I feel, but we've lost that knack. We just don't do it, do we?
No. But back in the day, one of the best ways of catching, I remember like Bagshot League, Big Pond and places like that where it was skimmers and bream, the best way to catch them was to loose feed casters. And they used to go everywhere. So you create a big area, I can remember some of my best weights when I was young, waggler fishing for bream. It was always loose feeding, and now accuracy, although as important as it is a percentage of the time, I wonder if it's your worst enemy as well some of the time.
Almost a big area can be a massive advantage.
Yeah. Look, how many times do you fish just past your feed? You've got an area, haven't you? And then you catch your fish with a little bit over and just nick one here and one left, right. Yeah. I've always been of the opinion on, especially with bream fishing, that you want to feed an area to hold the shoal in, because they're not coming in on their own. They're coming in a group, and you got to try and hold that group. And that to me is we used to fish Berry Hill a lot, and that was the thing we always did, always loose fed there. And I'd have a positive line, a negative line, and then just twigging just past it. You know,
I mean, you always tell that story about when you threw all the bait past your pole line and caught the bream in France. When no one else caught one in the section, and you. No.
I mean, that was one of the. Again, I went with. It was early 90s.
Yeah.
Travelled with Steve Champion.
Yep.
And I think Steve Sanders went with Ian Dixon. And like they do on the continent, you know, you've got a massive lake and they put you in 6 metres apart. And I drew in the middle of this 20 pegs and I fed a slider line at about 20 metres, 22 metres. We weren't as accurate back then, I'm guessing, you know, it was just you weren't clipped up or you weren't. And I fed a long pole line at 14 metres. And I never had a bite on the slider, but I was the only person in the whole section to feed it. And I was the only person to catch bream on the pole. Yeah. Like they settled and came in. And
I fished when you see the pegging on what we've got now, compared with in commercials and compared with abroad, I fished in Italy a lot of times, and if you fish a pairs match, you're that close. That's it. You're both running down like this in the river. You can imagine. And on the matches with Milo, on the Milo days, on these Lake Tenzi, he had a Milo day, and there'd be like, I don't know, hundreds of us, and we're 4 metres apart. And on the pole at distance, it's 15 foot deep at 30 metres, and you're 4 metres apart catching carp. But I've never seen, in all the time I've been there, I've never seen 2 lines snagged together. And I can't understand. And you're fishing in 15 foot of water catching carp.
Sounds like a right circus.
And it's clear, the water.
Incredible.
And that's the same. They start off on your bait, and then at the end of the match, swinging out into the deeper water.
Working your way out all the time.
But incredible, so close though, the pegging.
Where was that place you always used to tell me about, where the Winter League finals were and it was bream? Coombe Abbey? Yeah.
What was that like? Kevin spoke a lot about that place on his podcast.
He was very kind to me. It possibly helped me to fish for England, funny enough.
Did it really?
Yeah, because when we fished the Ladbroke Super League, one of the rounds was on there, and I drew next to Dick
Clegg.
Yep. And it was well, I'd already been there and caught caught on a waggler on the what was the far bank called?
I've never been there.
I've never been.
No,
I've never been to
There was
Coombe.
one bank, I forget what they called it now, on the far bank that they used to fish in these special matches. The rest of it, if it was a winter league, I think it was on the other side in general. But then eventually I think they used both banks. And I drew next to Dick. And because I was fishing Berry Hill a lot, we used to catch a lot of fish on the waggler, firing balls at ground, but throwing them by hand and loose feeding casters over the top. And we'd all gone out on the tip, and and then I've come on that, and I started catching these, and they're quite. And I had didn't have a 56 pounds, something like that, and I won the match. And obviously, the first time I got involved with the England team, it was to do with the waggler, and I don't know whether that. You know, I'd known Dick since, as you can see, since '81 on that calendar. But I think that played a part. The fact that he could see that I could fish a waggler okay. I'm not saying I was the best at it, but and I could take the pressure of doing it on with the gallery and all the rest of it.
Well, international fishing, boys, obviously we can talk. We could do 10 podcasts sat around this table talking about that, but I'd like to know what your route into international fishing was, Steve. Obviously, me and Will had a right natter on his show about it, and then your paths clearly come together a little bit later. But when did you first get into the England team, and how did it come about? Who were the manager? Who were the team?
I remember trying to get into the team on the Warwickshire Avon when Stan Smith, was it Stan Smith, the manager?
Yeah, he was before.
Yeah,
Dick,
and
wasn't he?
yeah, I think that's Dave Thomas won it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't get in, but it wasn't ever a goal of mine to fish for England. I'll be honest.
It wasn't.
No,
Right.
I never. I don't know really. I didn't know whether I could take the pressure. I didn't know if it because when I was younger I was very shy.
Really?
Yeah, very shy. Yeah, and I didn't know whether I was good enough. I just didn't know. Didn't even think about it. I'll be honest. Then Dick had a gathering of anglers, and I did show you a picture a little earlier, Matt, when we were at Mallory Park. That was a gathering. That was before. That was probably 85, I would think. I'll give you a rough idea. I never even had a pole then. And because he said, we're having a gathering at Mallory Park, I had to borrow a pole off of Kenny to go there. And I think what happened, we fished the first, like 3 hours, whatever. And then I had a very good 3 hours, actually. I caught quite a lot of bream. And then we had to swap pegs, but I had to fish with Kevin's gear for the second match. First one was on the main lake.
Yeah.
And the second one was on the one that's next door, the smaller one, little one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we was talking about something, gear and what have you. And anyway, I got to Kevin's box, I looked in it, and there was nothing in it.
You're on Kevin Asher's box.
There was no tackle in it, apart from, lots of discorders and stuff. But I fished with his gear in the second half, and I never thought any more of it. And then I think a couple of years later, I remember I was at home, and the phone rang, and I answered it, and he said, "Hi Steve, it's Dick Clegg," and I'm like, "Is this a wind up?" And then,
Is that what you really thought?
well, I weren't sure at the time.
Well, it
He
was
said,
Kenny, probably.
yeah, but then when you can't mistake Dick's voice, so I knew it wasn't. And he said, "I want to invite you to come to the World Championships in Portugal. It's waggler fishing, from what we know, and I think it'll suit you." But he said, I'll tell you, I will say to you now though, Steve, if you come back as individual world champion, you won't be going next year, because next year is on a canal, and I'm going to have a special team picked for that. So I said, fine, Dick, I ain't got a problem. No, that's great. So anyway, we went out to Portugal, and we had a good time out there, practiced all the rest of it as usual. And that was, I think, the last year where they had the team event on the Saturday and the individual. You had to qualify for the individual on the Sunday, and I drew next to Marcel van der Nijn. And I thought, of all the names in England that I know internationally, he's one of them because of their ground bait and whatever, fishing for Holland, and. We done well. We won it. I think we had 9 points team total, and I was probably the worst result with 3.
Wow.
I know. And at the time, you could nominate someone to fish in the squad for the individual the following day, and I think he'd nominated Bob, but the top 3. You could only have 5 apparently, but the top 3 in each section got into the final, and I was 3rd, and they managed to fit me in, so we had 6 fish that year.
So everyone who'd fished was in the next day as well?
Yeah, and then the reserve Bob. And I remember I drew next to Heapsy in the individual. I think Clive Branson won it, and I think Kevin was 2nd and Dennis was 3rd, or the other way around, I'm not sure. Dennis and Tom, they were in the top 3.
Right.
And guess where I came?
Go on.
13th.
No.
Yeah.
What's tell us a little bit about this 13?
Well, it's just been a spooky thing. Everything, for whatever reason, I just kept drawing 13, and it was like, oh no, not again. And then the other day, I drew. A friend of mine texted me about the competition. We've got 13 on this lake tomorrow, and I thought, oh no. I was just about to text him. And I went into the kitchen and the TV was on, and then there was a girl footballer in the European Championships goalkeeper standing there with the number 13 on her shirt, blazing like and I'm thinking, oh no, what's going to happen tomorrow? And anyway, long story short, I got to my peg the following day, and I'd left my lunch, my glasses all at home in the bag, and I thought, oh, that's that 13. And then later in the match, I went to grab my pole, and I picked it up, and I forgot my feeder rest was stuck out, and I snapped the number 4. And I thought, well, that's it, 13 twice, done, finished. And then the following week, I've gone to, well, I told you the story a little bit earlier. I've gone to Willinghurst, and I've got out of the car, and my friend Mark Parrott, Polly, was standing there. So, all right, Steve, I said, where are you on today? You on the other lake? He said, yeah, we're on there. He's doing out fishing. I said, I haven't been on there for a few weeks. I've been away. And he said, I'm on peg 13. I went, I didn't say anything at the time, and I just thought, not 13 again, please, no. Anyway, got to my peg, set everything up, all ready to go, 10 minutes before the off. And I'm looking at my rollers and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to fish more down to my left. Why not? I'll angle them that way. And I moved around and snapped the number 6. And I thought,
this is a thing.
A great start. And my friend behind me, Billy Eccleston, he was fishing, and we would, banter between us in the match. And at the end, how many carp you got, Billy? Because I thought me and him were quite tight. We wasn't. I wanted to see what he had. He said 9. And I said, no, you got more than that, Billy. He said, no, 9. Anyway, the guy, the other side next to him, but behind me as well, said, I'll let you know how many, Steve. I'm on scales. At the end of the match, he's come up. Wait a minute, he's come up. He said he had 13. I thought, no. Anyway, gone back for the results. All of a sudden, Billy's turned up. He smashed all his car up. He's only gone about less than 10 metres, gone down by the side of the bridge, ripped the front off, and put a hole through his radiator. And that was 13 again. And I'm like, oh no, this 13's getting a bit spooky.
Got a feeling I should have driven here today.
Yeah, you probably should have an all.
And we've come down the A13.
Yeah, you have an all. Makes you wonder.
I know.
Have you got any superstitions about stuff like that? Do
OCD?
Have you really?
Yeah, I have got OCD a bit about things. Yeah.
Wow.
I take my shoes off. I have to have them in the same line up in the same spot. And, yeah, silly things like that. And at night I have to go and check all the doors are locked and the windows. And,
What about you, Will? Have you got any weird fishing quirks that
not
are
really.
superstitious? Or?
No, not really. Too busy tying rigs and hooks and everything, changing me elastics to have any. No, it's weird. It's I used to have a good luck charm.
What was that?
So my very first girlfriend, her mum was Chinese, and she gave me this Chinese good luck charm. It had like a bell on it, and
I think I've seen that, Will. You took it.
Yeah. It's floating down the River Var at the moment because we went on the World Championships, and it was one of the years that Alan won it, and I had a fantastic week's practice. Caught a load of fish and thought, I'm gonna. And there was this little shallow area at the end of A or at the end of B. There's only there's no decent fish there, and I drew something like B25, 26, 27.
Bleakfish, Will.
Yeah,
I remember.
And I drew there the first day and the second day, and just couldn't.
No.
And I can remember packing up on the second day, and I opened the drawer of my matchbox at the time. And this good luck charm was there, and I thought, well, I'll tell you what's going to happen here, because that didn't bring, and it had been in my box for probably 10 years, 11 years.
Yeah.
And it just went into the River Var, never to be seen again. So maybe that's why I caught a few couple of weeks ago when we were out there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still floating around there somewhere.
It might be.
No, it's weird. I've got nothing like
superstitions.
That, really.
Have you, Matt?
No, I haven't, mate. I'm quite cold when it comes to things like luck or religion or anything that's a bit out of our world. I'm quite numb and cold to it, to be honest. I think the only thing I try and do is try not to be try to be a good person most of the time, and that's it.
Like do you have an early draw or a late draw?
The only thing I think we a draw, I'd rather be towards the front.
Yeah.
Just because I always think if you are the first to draw, the winning peg is in the bag. That's the only position you can guarantee drawing in, that it is going to be in there.
What if there's more worse pegs than good ones? Do you go last or?
If I had a choice, I'd go from first to about a quarter of the way back. That'd be my position where I'd always go.
I used to always like to have the last one in the hat.
Did you really?
Yeah, I always used to.
It's complete evens, isn't it? Whatever you do.
I just think if your name's on it, your name's on it. And I thought that we fished a 3-dayer at Gold once.
Yeah.
And an extra lad turned up, and 75 and 77. There's obviously 76s in between, but it was like sort of a half peg, like never really used, and we had to put it in the 3-day match. I drew it the first 2 days, and it wasn't any good. And I said, I'm having the peg that's left on the last day, and it was left. I had it all 3 days. And since that day, I'm just like, if my name's on it, it's on it. If I'm going to draw well or draw bad, it doesn't matter if I draw first, last, or it's just the way I. But
Remember the pairs match, Will?
Go on, which one's this?
Yeah.
When I was driving to Gold Valley, fishing at pairs with Will, and I'll come up just turned onto the M25.
Yeah.
Pulled it, and the car in front of me is number plate PEG 112, PEG 112, and I thought, so I quickly I wrote it down, put it on the dashboard, and when we got there, I'm sitting down having breakfast, wasn't I? And Will's come up and said, "Should we draw?" I said, "Go on, Will, you go and do the draw." I remember now, I got a bit of paper a pen off your dad, and I wrote 112, put it in the pot thing there, and Will's come back and do the draw. I'd done the draw. He said, "Do you want to know what number you're on?" I said, and I'd written it, I think, on my hand as well. He said, "How do you know that?" I said, "Come to my van." I said, "What's that on the front?" 112.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's what I'm saying.
That is weird.
To actually have the registration exactly, PEG 112, and then draw it. I thought.
And you had it written on. You written it on your hand because you had a thing in your head that it was going to happen.
I wrote it on there before when Will said, "I'll go and do the draw," and I'd written it on a bit of paper, and I will. And his dad let me, but he's gone and done the draw, and now that's why I'm a little bit about number 13 started to play tricks with me. So,
well, let's get it back on track because you came 13th, first ever World Championship, is where this diversion came from. But what happened after that? Dick had told you that you weren't back. You weren't back in the team. You weren't going to fish the next year. That was your only chance because you were good on Waggler. What happened next?
Well, I was surprised because Dick phoned me and said the following year and said, "Steve, I'm going to take you out to Belgium if you want to go, or I want you to come to Belgium." So I said, "Oh, all right." He said, "Because we've been out there and had a look, and there's some Waggler fishing to the far bank." He said, "Plus." So I said, "Oh, right, Dick." I said, and I did mention, I said, I didn't think you was going to invite me this year, Dick. He said, "No, but I know you and have been out practicing bloodworm and joker with the rest of the Dorking team." And as it happened, that following year, nothing to do with this, England or anything, I'd been out scraping joker in the local stream from the sewage works where I live, and also scraping bloodworm and fishing with Dorking and he knew. So he knew that I had I'd been, and this is why I always think that when you get an invite to fish internationally, it can go for you or against you. And fortunately for me, it couldn't have gone any better because the first year I fished, the team won it, and that was brilliant. On a venue fishing. I think we fished sticky magdeer, and then to get invited the second year, I'm thinking, "Oh, this is a different ball game." It's on a canal, and what actually happened. And I think this set the trend here. Bob rang me and said, "Steve, do you fancy going out to Belgium a little bit earlier, say July, August time, and have a go?" He said, "It's only an hour from Calais." So I said, "Yeah, go on, and we do it." So Bob and I went out there and we had a little bit of a practice, and we fished a Waggler on that, and we caught some fish, and it gave us a bit of an insight. So we knew exactly what to expect when we got there. Obviously, when you start putting hundreds of anglers on the bank, it's a different ball game. And to cut a long story short, I had 2 lovely days fishing. I ended up coming second individually, and the team won again. So I couldn't have had a better start. We've had
2 golds in 2
matches,
years.
And I think the important thing here is it's hard to break up a winning team anyway, but also if the manager has got confidence in you being able to handle all the pressure and all the rest of it, and I know that other anglers over the years that they've had an opportunity and it's not gone from. They've not been bad anglers; they've been great anglers, but it hasn't gone from on the day or and or in practice or whatever, and they never got another chance. Whereas for me, with Dick, it just all went. So number 13. I was worked for me there.
It weren't a bad thing.
No, it was good. So I couldn't have asked for more, to be honest. And that's really how it started for me.
And then how long did you keep fishing from that point, Steve? Because
for England, 27 years. So
that is
I started in 87 to 2013, and I fished with some great anglers. Obviously, the team changed a little bit over the years, and I was lucky to hang on in there. And then obviously, my old buddy here, Will, he got in the team at the age of 23 in '98 in Croatia. And,
27 years. Like I've got to say, I have got so much respect for that career, though. That's phenomenal.
A lot of hard work, and but we enjoyed it, didn't we, Will?
Yeah.
And Will done brilliant on his first match, which is exactly what I'm saying. He showed what he could do. He drew next to Jean Desquet the first day, didn't you, Will?
Yeah.
What was your debut like, Will? Tell us a little bit about it while I've got you here.
So, I mean, for me, I went the year before on the Europeans to Cabasau. Again, I was off the pace, thrust in the team with Stevie, Bob, Alan, Dennis and Dave Harrell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I didn't fish the first day. Could have fished the second day. But I said to Dick, look, the team's winning it the first day. I'd run for Stevie the first day. Steve was the wrong end of his section, but still came 7th in quite a big section. And I just felt like at the time the team would have been weaker with me in it. And I can remember having a conversation with Dick, and he was like, quite outspoken, Dick, when are you going to fish, and if you're going to do this and that. And I thought, I got home, just thought, blow my chances, really. The team won. Only just, it was a point or two.
I did better the second day. I was third, wasn't I?
Yeah. And I just sort of thought, that's been and gone. Maybe I should have took the chance, but I grew up team fishing, Winter League fishing with Farnborough, and the team atmosphere and the morale for me is the most important thing. And then the following year, again, just sat at home, phone rang, and it was Mark Addy. We want you to come to Croatia. Obviously, by this time, I'd been fishing with Stevie a lot. Just went to Croatia. Was basically told I'm going to be reserve, but had a real good week's practice, caught plenty of fish, and got in the team and never slept a wink both nights.
Really?
Yeah, I was so nervous, just ridiculous.
And how did you do?
I was 5th. I think I was 4th the first day and 5th the second day. But they're like 40 peg sections. They're not like split in half or
fantastic
or anything.
Team.
And the second day I was next to Desquet.
It was the second one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And it was quite, you got to realise I was 23. And not only am I in a team with all my heroes, but all these household names. And to rock up to your peg on the second day and Desquet sat there.
John Desk's on the next peg.
And he was, at the time, the main in France.
It's like similar to me. We had Marcel Vandenheim on
the
first match.
Yeah. But, luckily come out the other side. We won as a team. Alan won it individually.
Yeah.
Beat John?
Yeah. I think I was 4th or 5th and he was 18th.
Yeah. Tell him what you hooked.
Oh, the Tosta Levici, silver carp. Hooked it on.
Lost a lot.
Yeah.
We used to call him lost a lot.
Lost a lot.
Lost an awful lot. I hooked one on my bleak rig, and for a split second, it's just sort of wallowed on the top, and it's got me proper because I've even gone for my landing there. And the next thing, it's like on the other side of this rowing course with me elastic rig and everything. So, but it definitely fooled me into thinking might have a chance, but. No, that was my debut, and like I say, mate, it was more for me after that one was relief. Because I was only
23.
It's a young age to be put in that arena, in that company, not only your team's company, but the company of a world. You're fishing against the best in the world.
Yeah.
And you don't want to let the team down.
No,
That's the pressure.
Yeah.
You want to. And the other thing, of course, is if the team does well and you win, there's a good chance you'll be going the next year.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing. You don't want to, bomb out because you're gone for the individual and, get another chance anyway. So the most important thing.
Yeah, but also I don't want to sound, I don't really know the terminology, but people like Steve have got to take a lot of credit for helping me through it, even helping anglers like Stu Conroy when he first got in the team.
Can I say something here? He's helped me as much as I've helped him. I believe in me. We never stopped talking. Like we'd be driving for 1,000 miles and we never stopped talking tactics and about everything. And we've just banter between, a bit like this conversation here.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot from each other, and we've never held anything back. Always been open with each other tactically, and even weeks before leading up to going away, and I think that's a very important thing in team fishing.
Definitely,
you've got to be open, and
But I see it now, like when the youngsters get their first opportunity for our team. It's important to try to be like Stevie was with me, and Bob was with me, and all the lads.
And Bob with me.
Yeah, exactly. And you see how it works and the help. If I look back to that day a few times and think, if I was there on my own with 5 other guys that I don't really know, would I have? Because it's a proper man's environment, There's no hiding place. You get to your peg and there ain't no. There's nowhere to hide. You have to perform, and you're there because the manager thinks you will perform, and you can.
Queen or king and country riding on your shoulders.
Yeah. You got no choice.
It's not a happy place to be.
No.
Is it? It's quite cold.
And
it's
the relief
brutal.
for me coming out of that Sunday was just ridiculous,
So both your 2 debuts, you won a gold as team.
Yeah.
It plays a big part. Cements your future in the team, doesn't it?
But same as what Steve said, I've seen brilliant anglers come into the team. It's not gone their way.
No.
And it hasn't happened for them.
Do you think that there's a certain way you need to be cut out for international fishing? Do you think that there is a mindset and an attitude and a commitment that's different to
You've hit the
domestic
word. Commitment
fishing?
is the thing.
And what is it then?
The commitment.
I've not got 2 better people sat in front of me to, why were you in the team for 27 years? Why are you going to be in the team for 1,000,000 years?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a reason.
Commitment's one of them, being preparation in terms of, I'm going to give so-and-so a ring. He's been there, or what's if I can get some information, drawing as much information as possible before you go. Obviously, talk to the rest of the anglers in the team and converse about different things, what you think, this, that, what we need to prepare, possibilities. I mean, the one that sticks out for me more than ever is when we went to Spinadesco. I know it didn't apply to Will, what happened, but what we heard via somebody, through a friend of ours, Mark Addy got some information, I heard something, and when we got out there a week before, we tried it, and we found something out that was the killer on the day.
Tell me about Spinadesco, because I know the background story to this.
Very fair venue.
Yeah,
incredibly fair.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But it didn't apply to how Will fished, but I think 4 other members in the team, it benefited.
He won us a gold medal.
On the day one, we'd heard, I think it was Gabba, wasn't it? Fruscia Gabba was next to someone.
One of, Mario.
Yeah, he got Mario Molinari.
Yeah.
But I think he'd been watching a match, and someone said, and the guy next to Gabba had been come in and fished at 5 metres, and he caught. So Gabba came in and caught a carp and a bream, I think, and we'd been heard this, and then Mark Addy, I'd heard it, and Mark Addy had heard it. So when we were out there the week early, we were trying all different things, fishing up in the water, and I remember I was sitting on the upstream end peg one day, and I came in and I started catching a few, and then the next day, I think a few of us did it, but I came in even closer, didn't I? I came
top
in,
four.
top 4, just past the keep net, feeding dead maggots at the start, and then loose and we started catching. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, we
Carp,
kept.
ass, bream.
Yeah, we didn't. We in the practices. I think on the Tuesday, 2 of us did it. I don't know if it was me and Des, maybe. I can't remember now. And it worked. We caught a few, and we said, "Well, we're not going to do it no more."
So this is Spinadesco, just to set the scene for people. Big canal in Italy, concrete slopes,
Yep.
red hot weather, world championship.
Yep. And tight-ish pegging, not
42 teams.
42 teams, 42 different countries.
Yep. Lots of big crowds.
Italy is the country where pressure is on to perform as well.
Yes.
To beat Italy in Italy is ridiculous. So you've figured this situation out. We can catch these big fish really close.
Well, what we did, we all started. We had an outline as well, and we started out, and I think we'd caught a few fish. Will was fishing long, catching it. When you were next to.
I was next to. He still
Salty.
fishes now, Salty,
Yeah, he was next to Salty, which is Italian, so that was even added pressure for Will. And you beat him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where'd you end up in section?
I won my section.
That's
the
right.
first
You won
day,
the section next to it. And I'd had a few fish, I think, and it came down the line. I think Des had gone short. Was he on the MPEG upstream or something? Or he was somewhere.
Yeah, one of those up
And
past that concrete factory.
Yeah, and he'd had. So I came in short, me personally, and I remember I caught. Just trying to think what I caught there now. I definitely caught a carp, and then I had an asp like. And I always remember right at the end, there was 5 minutes to go, and Mark came up behind me and he said, "Any signs?" I said, "I just had a little indication." He said, "Lift and drop your rig." I thought, well, I'm not going to say. So I lift and drop it, went straight under, and I caught a 1 kilo Carasio. And anyway, it's a long story short, I think I was 3rd in my section, and we won it, didn't we? We pulverised it on day 1, and now, of course, now the other teams had twigged what we were doing. And the next day, I remember. Who was you next to the next day? Well, I can't remember.
I can't honestly remember. I can't
You came
remember.
second in your section, didn't you? Second day.
Yeah.
And you were below the bridge, and I was the other section above it. And I was your friend was it the guy from Ireland.
Yeah, Willie Wheeler.
Yeah, he was on the MPEG in my section. I was next to Thomas Walter. Then Spud Murphy, and then Ferruccio Gabba was all in, and I'm like, it's going to be tough. And I had Dave Harrell sitting behind me as well, and I can't remember who the other one was. Anyway, I always remember what happened. The whistle went, and next door, Thomas threw about 2 tins of sweet corn in past his keep there, and everyone was doing it. So it obviously wasn't going to work. And
I think at the time that was great for us though, because that line all of a sudden we'd used it to full advantage the first day, and the second day everyone's filled it in. It's null and void.
So I was out there fishing out there, and I'd had some skimmers, and I don't know which order it came in, but I remember hooking this carp, and it's gone. I was very fortunate because I had a new pole, and it was like a lot of the poles that the sections can come when you're out there all the time become a bit loose. So I taped them all except for the top 3. So I taped all the sections up, and I've hooked this carp. I'm probably only on something like 0.12 because I'm catching skimmers and greater. And I'm like this, and it's swallowing on the other bank on White Eyed Road, I think it was. And it's like, oh no. Anyway, so I managed to get it in, and it was about £6, and I thought, that's a bonus. And it's a good, and I've had some skimmers, and I kept coming into the short line, looking, and Dave Howell said, "Steve," I said, "What?" He said, "There's fizzing on your outline." I dropped it in, £1.5 catfish. Thanks, Dave. Anyway, cut a long story short, I won the section, which was brilliant, and I beat Willie. And Willie was second, wasn't he? So Will won it. Willie was second, and I was 3rd, and we won the team.
Magic.
So that's how it all panned out. Great, brilliant for us.
That must be a really memorable one for you two. And not to sound soppy, but like obviously you've done a lot of fishing together, and for Steve to see Will win it, for you to be on the podium as well, and for the team to get a gold medal in Italy.
And I think San Marino was second the first day, but I think Italy came back, didn't they?
Yeah, they did really well the second day. But winning in it, I think if you win in Italy, it's.
I remember Mark saying to me, "Steve, you're going to have to catch some fish long today," like because I hadn't caught enough long, and I did catch some, so it was good. And I was, funny enough, Will, I was negative that day, and all people around me. I remember Dave saying to me afterwards, he said, "Everyone around you, they were all boshing it in, panicking, and you just." Carried on with your way you were feeding and steady, and you caught.
Yeah.
You know the short line. I heard you say, Steve, you fed dead maggots at the start and then loose fed live. What's the crack there? That sounds technical.
What we did, we fed because it was on a slope. We fed a bed. We cupped in a pot of dead maggots, and then we fed the live ones just a little bit short because they're gonna.
Yeah.
And
because they're wriggling down the slope.
Yes, and then we just. It was. I mean, when you hook one, you're only on the top 4. When you hook one, and you didn't know what it was. All the sections of it.
Exciting venue.
I was disappointed. I'd never had a bite on it either day. But in practice, obviously, I had an odd go on it.
Yeah.
And it was deadly. And
I think Mark saw me up that one. That lap was swirling on the other bank. You couldn't believe it. He was a bit nervous then.
You know, like your 2 experiences in international fishing, like there, you had this line where you catch a big fish and it's technical. You like dead maggots to start with, live ones back a little bit, fishing on the back edge of it all.
Yeah.
Like, do you find the ones that you've done well on, do you know that you've got something?
Yeah.
Like we started talking about Portugal, and you were both. I were like, these boys had something there.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Have an edge.
Yeah.
I think nearly every time we've won, we've had an edge.
Tell me about a few other ones. What sticks out in your mind? I mean, we talked about Paris.
Paris again. We found out the week before, didn't we?
Well,
didn't hardly do it in practice.
We did. We had to go worms, didn't we?
Yeah, but not to a man sort of thing.
No. And then
and what were the cracks? Because that were quite a renowned special event, Paris, wasn't it?
it was a bit of everything, really, because one section, I think it was A, or was it? Yeah, right. Upstream.
Yeah, that was on that island. Wasn't it?
God. Do you remember what happened? We got there, and it's like a 4 metre keep net was in the water that much, and I can't swim, and this river's going through like a tank.
What river is it? Seine.
And he said
that's a massive river.
And I saw that guy. Who, I think it was the guy that was in charge of it.
Yeah.
And I said to him, look, I'm a bit worried about falling in. And he said, tie yourself to a tree. I'm looking at this tree's about 30 yards away. Anyway, so we went to a tackle shop and I ordered a life jacket.
Did you really?
Never went and picked it up.
Oh, no.
It's probably still in the front window now.
Because I thought, if I draw that section, I've got to have.
Yeah.
If I fall in, I'm gone. There's no way of getting out.
On the banking there, it was like concrete, probably 4 and a bit metres off the water. But then there were lower bits.
And they put boarding.
And what they'd done, they'd built like scaffolding to level it all out so no one was lower or higher.
But you're looking down like that. Can you imagine? And I'm like...
I don't know if I could do that, Steve. I'd be crapping myself. I would.
Well, fortunately, I never drew there. So
right.
Especially when it's...
But that was a bleak section. That was fishing for bleak. And Stu Conroy done really well.
Yeah, he won the section the second day.
Yeah. And then... other pits was very, very hard. Alan had one roach, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was on the, I think, downstream Empreg. He had one roach. Bob had some bleak. And then, I don't know I know what happened on my first day. I don't know what happened on your first day.
I was 7th with about 900 grams. I had 2 perch and about 50 bleak.
Yeah.
But I did lose, well, I had a bite, it went under, and again, like we were doing, you count to like 3 and then strike for these eels, and it was just snag solid. So I had to pull for a break.
This eel thing was important because we'd upped all our gear. We're fishing black hydro, and we're fishing like 20, 30 gram flat floats.
Yeah.
And
animal looks.
Camus animals.
Right hard down on the bottom. And I know after 2 hours in my section of the first I'd had one bleak, but I wasn't blanking, which is the important thing. Caught it about 6 foot down. I had one bite, one bleak. And bearing in mind, we had to have 6 metre landing net handles because you couldn't get to the water otherwise. And then with a 6 metre landing handle, you can't have a great big net. We had small nets. And then when you're hooking these eels, you can imagine. Anyway,
trying to get them in.
Yeah, and it was windy. But And then
14.5 metres back then as well.
And then I
Limit.
went on this flat float in the last hour, and I caught 2 or 3 perch and an eel. And that, I was 7th in my section the first day, and we won it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were right up there. Obviously, the second day, everyone knew what we were doing, and the ones that switched and tried to catch eels, they got snapped. They didn't realise they didn't have the gear set up like we had the advantage. And the second day, that's when
You had a situation, didn't you, second day?
that's the day of that picture. What happened? It was farcical, really. I drew the same section but down a bit, and they hadn't caught in my pack the day before, but then a lot of people didn't catch. They didn't know the tactic of catching what we were doing, and I was fishing away, and suddenly there was a ruckus, and I heard someone had objected to the way we were fishing. They thought we were fishing with too much line or weight on the bottom.
Right.
They thought we were fishing with our bulks on the bottom, where you're only allowed 10%. So if you've got a 20 gram float, you could only have 2 grams laying on the bottom. Anyway, I think they come and checked you first, didn't they, Will? And then,
second day,
yeah, and then they came down to me, and it's all kicking off, and Downsy says to me, Steve, they want to check your rig. You can do it now or after match. I said, no, do it now, Mark, because this official would come down. So I lifted my rig out of the water. Yeah, so you're all right, mate, carry on. So I carried on fishing, and I'd had 1 eel already, and then the float's gone under, and I've hooked another one, and I'm trying to play. Now we're on a slope like this, and bearing in mind that the minimum distance between pegs in the World Championships is 10 metres, but they'd made a mistake, or there was an extra team turned up, so they had to put an extra team in. So now we only had 9 metres.
That's close.
With no man's land either.
No man's land, and
Normally you have that.
You know the ropes, they only finished at the top of the bank. So you've got all this angle going down, and you cannot see where your border is. Do you understand? Anyway, I've got this eel, and it's thrashing about on the top, and I'm trying to get it over this landing net handle in a blow, and it was windy. And Downsy said, Steve, it's going out your zone. And I thought, what? He said, it's going out your zone. I said, oh, right. I netted it, and he said, no, you're all right. You're all right. Didn't he? He said, you're all right. And I put it in the net. And then I'm trying to fish on, and then all of a sudden he's gone, no, Steve, they ain't happy about that. I said, what? He said, they're not happy that you put that in your net. I said, because this official then still standing there watching us, right? Anyway, while it's all going on, I've hooked another one, and I'm playing it, and this is when it got farcical. And it's a big, and it might have been that one, and it's a bigger, and I'm like, netted it, and he said, Steve, don't put that one in your net. He said, because they'll throw the biggest one away, and that's bigger than the other one. So I thought, oh no. I said, all right, what do I do? And this is the middle of the match, and I don't know how long it was, 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
I've now got my ground bait bucket, and I'm trying to get water to put, we had this thing on a rope to get water. I'm throwing it in, filling it out, and I'm throwing the eel in the bucket. No, they can't do that. It's got to go in your keep net. He said, hang on, Dick's going to get you another net. I said, oh, thank God, okay. So,
this is like a nightmare.
Yeah. So Dick's gone and got me another net. So he said, Steve, you can't put it in that net. It's not got the advertising on it.
And they were really strict this year
so
about
I've got,
the
remember, it's a 4 metre net. So I've had to, he said, stick that one inside your other one and put the eel in that. So I've had to, in the middle of the match, I've got my land net, and I'm trying to get my net down inside it. And I put this third eel rather, in that net. And it was a bit of a, you can imagine. But anyway, the match finished, and we weighed in, and then because this, they took the biggest eel of the 2 out, and they weighed it separately. Yeah. Right, and then they weighed the other ones, and with all 3 eels, I won the section. Without the one they took out, I'm second because I got beat by 1 bream. That was Thomas from Mid-Spain.
Right, yeah. Romero.
He had 1 bream. Anyway, so I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And then Dick's gone to the results, and he's asked him, he said, what's the result? And they told him, he said, is that with that eel, Steve's, or without it? He said, no, you've won it without it. He said, okay, you can have the eel. And that was it. I had to throw it back, and I couldn't how the hell was I supposed to see?
You can't.
And they said they was going to make allowances.
Yeah.
They hadn't looked anyone's line or nothing, you know.
That is an absolute nightmare, isn't it?
But we won it, so we were happy anyway, you know.
And you had something again. Worms, flat float, soil.
No potting back then either.
You had to throw it all.
Yeah. Throwing rock hard balls of soil, weren't we, with some worms and...
Oh, I've got another story on that one.
Go on.
Florence, on the Arno.
Yeah.
And this is a weird thing, because this... Prior to this World Championships, I'd been there. We used to have, I think it's before you were there, Will, we used to go to, there was a fishing exhibition in Rimini, and the part of it was a competition between France, England, Italy and San Marino at Ostellato on the canal. And we used to stay in Rimini. It was 2 hours to go there in a coach every day, and we fished. We fished there. Well, one year it was frozen, the Ostellato, so they said we'll go to the Arno in Florence, but it's like 3.5 hours or whatever in a coach through all the mountains, and I'd do next to Roberto in this and Trabuco, and it was sliders, so I'm chucking out the sliders to get the distance and all the rest of it. Just before the off, I chuck my slider out, getting ready. The float's gone under. I've got a carp on, foul hooked. I'm like, you're kidding me. Anyway, I played it in, got it, netted it. By now the whistle's gone, so I can't put. So I'm behind with the feeding. Gone out there, started feeding. Cut a long story short, I think Roberto beat me, but it weren't by a lot. And in this World Championship on the Arno, the first day I drew MPEG above the bridge and I won the section. I think you won yours, didn't you?
Yeah, you had a big weight,
like 16 kilo or something. We caught on the pole carp and whatever. And the second day I got Skyward. I think Keith Arthur was behind me because I won my section. I think I'm going to win the individual. And for whatever reason, I cannot remember why, we decided that we'd put the rigs in the water and ball it with the rig in the water. Right, so now I've got my pole in the rest.
This is world champs.
Yeah, they're all they're filming it on. I've thrown 2 balls in and the float's gone under, and I'm virtually near where I had this with Roberto. I've got a carp on. Anyway, I've played it. I got it in. It was double. It was a 10-pounder, and I've had to throw it back. Obviously, now the whistle's gone.
Were it in the mouth or foul?
Fouled. And now I'm like, but now I can't use 2 hands. And my sticky mag balls have all broken up, and they're big ones, aren't they? Of course, I've had to. I'm throwing little. Anyway, I ended up 10th in my section, but it just totally. I didn't have enough feed out there to start with.
And I bet you never balled in with a hook on again, did you? After that,
I didn't do that again. I don't know why we decided to do it, but
I think we were fishing on that slope, and your float was always past your pole tip,
so you needed to throw to your float, sort of thing.
Yeah. It was something like that. I can't believe it.
Twice on the same venue, in almost the same area.
Weren't peg 13, were it?
I think it was 130 metres from the bridge. No, I just like... Yeah, and Bob was running my section that day, I remember.
Absolutely frightening. What venues, Steve, stick out in your mind as your favourites from international fishing? Like, were there a certain style that you thought, I really can't wait to get there on that venue? Because you must have done all sorts: slider, flat float fishing, bollo fishing.
I don't think there's anyone in particular. I just liked being able to having like a fortnight to tune into the tackle and the way we were fishing, and it might be something that I haven't done a lot of but you by the time you've been doing it for 2 weeks, you're as long as you've got the right tactic. I mean, there are times when we've got it totally wrong. Don't get me wrong, but if you've got it right and you feel positive from the start that you can win it, then I think I don't think the venue or the type of fishing plays a part. It's just having that confidence to know that we can do it. We've had that a few times. We had it again in Merida, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had an edge in Merida.
And did you win in Merida?
Yep.
I'm going to Merida tomorrow as we're recording.
Nice. But even when we haven't won, the teams that have won have had an edge.
Yeah. There's
you
something.
can see that, and you speak to them afterwards, and you're like,
And what was it in Merida?
It was we'd been practicing a week before off the venue at another place, and we found out that we balled it heavy on our main line, but we also cupped in regular balls, the same ground bait, and then also with worms and whatever, sticky mag as well, wasn't it? Both, two lots. One with ground bait worms, and now one past it and then fished on it, and we caught bonuses, didn't we? Doing that. We also had a few fish on the waggler and slider and whatever, but in general that was the tactic. Wasn't it? Fishing past, getting the bonuses.
Fishing heavy.
Yeah, there's all sorts of fish in there, aren't there? Barbel, carp, and you name it. But
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
What you were in the team that won at Home Pierpoint as well, Steve, weren't you? What was that like? Because to win in England,
nerve-wracking. If you see how many people behind you. I mean, we had to get in a coach from the drawer in the main building there, to take you to your section, your pegs. And when you got to your peg, all the crowd knew where you were. So there was I think they said there was 20,000 spectators there, and most of them were dotted behind the England anglers. And when you got your peg, they all go, "All right, Steve, all right," and you look up and you just see a sea of faces. You didn't know who it was. I mean, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean Steve Champion. Yeah,
we didn't. Yeah, and it was nerve-wracking. Yeah, I didn't have a great first day. I caught some perch and what have you, and I thought I was Tedesco, wasn't he? And he caught a couple of skimmers and beat me, but we'd done well as a team. I think we'd won it.
Yeah.
And but the one was the second day.
And what happened second day?
Well, we're out on these little pontoons they built these little
octopus built proper platforms, didn't
we could walk out a little way, and so we all were in the similar depth of water, same distance out. And where I was at the time, no one was catching anything. It was, and I mean hard. And Dick's come out on the platform. So there's a chat. How's it going, Steve? And I'm on the pole now. I come off the slide. I'm on the pole, and it's gone. I've gone clunk, and it's gone deathly quiet. Even the crowd behind, everything. And I'm like. And I caught this perch about, I don't know, 4, 5, I can't remember exactly what, 70, no, I can't remember exactly what it weighed, 110 grams. And I put it, and the crowd went, "Yay!" Steve Dick goes, "Go wave to the crowd now, you can turn around." And I dropped it back in, it went straight under hook when it come off. I never had another bite. But I ended up, I think, 5th in my section, 4th or 5th.
Massive sections as well.
Yeah, and I didn't know at the time, but the guy who wrote the book looked out and he said there was 14 blanks one side and 5 the other.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't caught that fish, that's how important. And I think Will agree with me this. I mean, go out. You can go out and catch £300-400 a carp in a match, or £60 a chub, or anything. But some of the most rewarding days are when it is rock hard in a team event. And you're got a fish and prepare to catch one fish. And when you get that fish, there's so much satisfaction.
You've always spoke to me about a sense of achievement.
Yeah.
When you can catch a handful of fish and others can't. And that's definitely the one for me.
It's Nottingham on the Trent.
Yeah.
Look what you caught.
What was that on? Europeans?
Yeah.
And what happened on there?
All right, tell you what you caught.
I caught one little fry the second day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, fishing in the edge, mauling about for it?
Tiny bit of a
But if you hadn't caught that, we wouldn't have won it.
No. Came 6th, I think.
Yeah.
It was a perch fry that big.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's how important. But it's like, when I was younger and we used to fish on the winter leagues on the way nav, and we were fishing for one gudgeon or one chub, and on the river you'll set your stall out with bread. On the River Thames, and you think, well, I just want one bite today for the and you get one. That achievement. Yeah. Sometimes concentrating like mad rather than just all in fishing all day. Sometimes, for me, that is.
Yeah. I remember that winter league on the Medley on the channel. Do you remember?
Yeah. On the canal, it was on the canal.
Yeah, it's 2 sections on the channel on the canal bit.
Yeah.
And the lad on the end peg caught a chub, and everyone else blanked, and Stevie was right in the middle and caught 3 chub. One on a feeder, one on a bollo, one on a waggler. No, you did, didn't you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
But that's heroic, isn't it? It is.
Yeah. But those are the most...
Yeah, but one, you can say...
Yeah. They're the most rewarding days. Well, I think, rather than sitting here just dragging fish in from 4 metres out, you know, those days mean the most, I think.
And it's probably, and again, I don't want to sound like a doomer, but it probably gets lost in today's fishing world where there's so many fish to catch at so many venues.
Yeah.
But on a team event, and you're on a difficult day, you know, it's very rewarding. If the team's won because of what you've done and achieved that, and other guys have done similar, it's like, we've done it today.
Yeah, I think that's a massive difference, isn't it, between international fishing and you know, commercial style fishing. Everyone that's at a young age has been involved with team fishing. They get it and they understand it. Yeah, you know, I bet, you know, how many times have you gone to a match and packed up early or not gone to your peg? I could count on one hand in 40 odd years. It's not, but a lot of these lads now, they go to qualifiers, don't go to their peg, pack up after half hour. That to me is just like, because I was brought up team fishing, and the same as Steve, same as you. You know, you know, being best of the rest from a bad area.
So for example, you're on the Trent and it's up and pushing hard, and it's a winter league. And it's a major. You think, right, I've got to get a bite today, and you set your stall out, and you get that bite, and that's rewarding to me. That's more rewarding than catching a great big net full of fish you can't pull out. You know.
Totally agree. Yeah, go fishing to get the best from your peg on the day in them conditions. Whatever's happening, beat people around you. Well,
that's what I've always felt anyway, and obviously in the World Championships or Europeans or any team event like that, club wise, otherwise, you catch it, you set your stall out, and you've done it.
It's drilled into your sort of genetics to try and do that, isn't it? Definitely is.
And it's so important, mate. You know, I remember I wasn't in the team then, but I used to follow the England team avidly, and I remember the Drava when Bob won. You know, did you catch one fish the second day? Or the first day you just had one? One day you caught a few, but the next day you had like one chub or something. And that was the difference between the team, you know, not just what Steve did, everyone, but without that fish.
One bite is often what a gold medal's riding on. One bite. You always told me about a story about missing a bite somewhere. Were it Finland or?
No, that was Willenbrook.
On the rowing course.
Can still see it going under now.
Go on, tell us about that.
No, there's 10 minutes to go and it's all close, and I drew a real shallow peg and I'd caught plenty of little fish on the pole. I think I had 1.5 kilos. And not really invested much time into the slider line. Fed it at the start, and it was one of those, with half hour to go, everything was changing. I was like top 3 or 4, and then all of a sudden he's got a bream, so he gets one, and I went out with like 15 minutes to go, and Mark was sat on my bait tray.
Oh, Mark Downs?
Yeah, and you ask him about it, and it's like dibbed and gone under, and I was just like, yes, here we go. He just never felt a thing.
Oh, no.
But
there's an even worse one than that, though, Will, isn't there, Willowbrook? What happened with me?
Yeah.
I had... I think I was 6th in the section the first day, so I wasn't looking at individual or anything. I never did, to be honest. I drew this bit, and it was sort of strange the way the day went, because we started off fishing shallow, I don't know if you remember, and we'd fed some joker out long. We had this distance, didn't we, Will? It was so precise, but it seemed to be
depth, wouldn't it?
Depth.
Right.
So we had all our set up, clipped up, come back to the site, and we tuned our catapults in, so we fed that line. I've gone out up in the water and I caught a few. We were catching roach, perch, and anyway, this is before the other story, and I got no hook. What's happened there?
What, just come in without an hook on?
Yeah, no. Anyway, I've gone out a little while later. I've caught a pike this big. It's got my hook in its mouth.
So you actually caught the fish that had took it?
Yeah, the little pike like this, 6 ounces. They counted anyway. Cut a long story short, we then carried it, then went on to the slider out, and I'd caught a couple of bream, and I was doing all right, and all of a sudden I hear all this shouting behind me. And now the English says, "That's out of the zone, that's out of the zone." Because there was a few little bits of bush and stuff, and I couldn't see anything. And the guy next to me had a bream on, and apparently it come out of his zone, and he netted it, and all the English lads were watching me. They were rejecting. Anyway, cut long story short, at the end of the match, he didn't catch any more, but the final, when they went back to do the results, they disqualified this bream.
Right.
And we got beat by France by 1 point. If that bream had counted, we'd have tied with France and beat them on weight. And it was English guys that didn't realise got it disqualified.
Yeah. So someone else's fish getting disqualified cost you winning gold.
And it was the England lads that were worried about this guy beating Stevie.
Yeah.
That had brought it to the attention of the...
No.
Listen, we were never going to win that one. One of the French anglers hooked a perch on the pole, shipping back a pound pikes, took it.
And it counts.
Yeah. You know, and it's all little things like that. And
another place we had a method as well, Will, was in Finland, wasn't it? On the canal.
Yeah.
That was something we learnt from the first time we went there. We got mullered there. That we went there. That was 2005. That was
So it would have been about 95, 96. You went there.
Yeah.
And what happened in Finland? That's a weird country to go to. I've never.
Yeah, we had the match in July, and it was 30 degrees, wasn't it? And the water was gin clear. And we'd worked out different things during the day, during the practice and whatever. And we were catching perch, skimmers,
little roach. It's nice fishing.
On the first day, I'm sitting out there fishing, and I've also gone, oh no, what's this? And it's like, I've come back, lifted up, and this bream about a kilo's come up on the top, gone back down. It's 12 foot.
Bearing in mind 6 ounces is a big fish in this case.
So I'm fishing light. I don't know if we had 20 or 22 hooks on. Anyway, I'm playing it. Oh no! It's every time it came up, so I need to go back down.
Isn't it a weird feeling? You're making me feel it.
Des is behind me, and his phone's rung, and it's down. He said, "What's he got on?" He said, "That's a bream." Okay, let me know when he's got in. And about 10 minutes later, he's down's his phone. He said, "He's got it." He said, "No." Oh, it must have been someone 2 ups just netted a fish. Anyway, it took me 20 minutes to land this bream. 20 minutes, and
did you get it?
You got it. Yeah, and I come second in the section with this with the rest of my fish, but the one thing that I couldn't believe, the way we fished as well. The second day, where'd you come that? You were framed, didn't you?
Yeah, I was third.
So I second in my section that day. I think I was fourth in my section the next day, and something I always wanted to do when we first got out there, and I did it, was fish off the bottom.
Okay.
With joker, because we used to do a lot of that, didn't we, at Gold Valley and whatever, fishing like a single joker just off bottom. And I hadn't done it at all. We hadn't worked at all. And then on the second day, right at the end of the match, I thought I could just come off one old con out, and I caught a skimmer 6 ounce, and next put in, I'm just got it over the net as the whistle's gone. And Don Descaye was behind me, and he said, "That's all right, it counts, put it in the net." And I can't remember what weight I had, but I just wish if I'd have tried it earlier, I could have won the section, and then I've been pushing for the individual. But it was, that bream, 20 minutes to land a bream. Have you ever known that?
No, it's scary.
But again, we won.
Won the team.
Yeah.
It's tiny little things, isn't it?
You know, one fish in Paris,
we never
fish there.
We never see a fish that big all week, did we? No. We were there. And then I thought,
on match day.
You can imagine my heart rate.
Yeah. Have you? I hope you don't mind me saying this, Steve.
I've been on blood pressure pills ever since then.
I'm not surprised. I am listening to you, but this is only in a positive way. But so many people say this, that you are the best angler not to win an individual. Like so many, they must say it to you, and I've got to ask you about it because I've got you sat in front of me. But could you have won one, do you think? Because 27 years and your record is phenomenal. You've got 11 team gold medals.
I'll be honest with you, I'm honoured that people say that. That it never bothered me. It never really bothered me at all, to be honest. My sights were always to go there and do the best I can. And obviously, like I said earlier, if the team wins, there's a good chance you're going to go the following year. And that's how I've always looked at it, you know. And I think, you know, I have had chances. I told, you know, one earlier where I failed to up what I was doing in terms of hook lengths and that the second day on in Portugal with them mullet, when Stu had told me the day before when he was there the mullet were bigger on that side of the lake, and I didn't take a lot of notice. I thought, I can't change what I'm doing. I've been doing all right. Second in my section the first day, I'm going to carry on. I don't want to go beefing everything up and then not catch. And then I lost one, as I told you, I had one mullet. I had a mullet come off as I went to net it, and I had 2 snap me. And they could have been foul hooked, the 2 snap. I don't know. Because you're coming in, you know. But my section was only one with 2 kilos. I think if I'd have got 2 of them mullet in, I would have won the individual. But it wasn't that upset me. It was the fact that I dropped right down in the section. But fortunately, we had enough points to win it. But I had an opportunity. The one in where I failed that carp, there was another opportunity I had, because my swim was never prepared right from the off. I was always, you know, after the initial, you can only use one hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, what do you do now? And I think then we weren't allowed to cup either, were we? It was all
no, it's throwing everything.
So you know, I had those 2 opportunities to win it, definitely. I had another one. No, I think Bob would have won it in Hungary. When Bob won in Hungary, I think, was it 91? I think it was.
Well, that's Zeged.
Yeah.
On the rowing course.
Yeah. We'd been fishing away, I'd been catching a few fish, doing not too bad, and then 40 minutes from him, a penguin dead, and I just couldn't catch nothing. And I'm like, and we weren't fishing heavy gear because we were catching skimmers, perch, and like literally 3 minutes from here, and the float's gone under, and all the elastics come out. I think, like, what's this? I'm pulling it, it's not come up, so I've had to put sections on quick, and you know, I've unshipped back and I've gone lifting up, and suddenly this grass carp, like, well, the Italians had 2 the day before, 8 kilo each. It's come up on the top going, like they do. Oh no, so I started, still not coming. I put some more sections on because all just as that coming out was elastic. And in the end, and then we were fishing with match tops. The match top's gone and snapped off.
No.
Another section on, and I'm pulling and sitting near the whistle. Dave White sitting right next to me in the no man's land saying, "Stay twist," and then the elastics cut on the break, and I lost it.
But you're obviously pulling because it needs to be clear of the water. So
and I don't know if you've ever tried to net grass carp, but as soon as they get near that net, they come in like they're like a skimmer, and then as soon as they get them, whoosh, and they're over, and then you can't get them.
The nutters, absolute nutters.
And anyway, it snapped me. And funny enough, the next day, I drew next to Roberto. Funny enough, Tabuco again, and we'd been catching perch, fishing short. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then I'd gone out, and I hooked a grass carp, but it weren't as big as that. It was about £3, and I landed it. But the Irish lad next to me, he hooked 2 of them great big ones, and they're wallowing like 15 metres out on the top, and he lost them both. Couldn't get them in. It was too big. But then there's been times when I have caught a grass carp and they've played the first year you fished, I caught one on the waggler.
Croatia, yeah,
I caught one on the waggler, and that played a part. But it was, so I've had chances, definitely, but I don't look back and think, you know, it worries me.
Yeah.
It doesn't at all.
Yeah, but you don't need to. With how much you have won and how much you've done with that team, it is quite simply phenomenal. It is, definitely.
I couldn't ask for more, to be honest, Matt. And say I've fished with some great anglers and learned a lot along the way. And obviously, my sponsorship with Milo, was a major thing. The first year I fished, I first met Milo. He was two couple of pegs to my left.
Did you meet Milo fishing internationally?
Yeah.
Milo Colombo,
yeah,
great guy.
Yeah, and then at the time, I think Keynets were distributing his product, and Andrew Reid was the owner of Keynets, and I got to know Andrew, and then I got an opportunity. I had a few, because I fished now internationally. I was sponsored by Normark for a bit, and then I got an opportunity for different sponsorships, and. I always remember I spoke to Bob about it. Obviously, I knew Milo. I know him great, but I'd met him, and we went when we were in Dammer, I met him there, and we went out and had meals out and drinks and what have you. And they offered me a sponsorship, and it was a good deal. They included tackle, and to be honest, he bought my house. So,
Did he really?
yeah. If I look back, because I was with him for how many years? Probably 30 years sponsored by him, and obviously, you know, over that period of time, he paid me quite a lot of money, and plus all my tackle, everything I wanted. You know, it just came.
But you must have done an awful lot for him as well, though, Steve. Having you sat there in that kit, using that kit on that stage, is ridiculously valuable.
Yeah, I possibly. I didn't look. I never sort of really looked at it like that. Obviously, I got invited in Italy a lot to competitions out there, and he used to just. I never pay for nothing. I'd go to his warehouse, and I mean, he did have. I saw how much stock he had. It was like a Walmart warehouse. It was ridiculous, you know. It was. I don't know if you've ever seen those ones in America, but there was. High like this, stacked of gear everywhere, and but yeah, and it just say, Steve, whatever you want, you know. But when I used to go out there and fish, like at Milo days they used to have, or some events on and fish pairs matches on the Arno, which were great. They were great fun. All I brought was my rigs and the hooks. I got out there, he'd have my tackle box in the car park all dayed out, and Andy Neal's as well if we were anyway. There's all the poles. What elastics do you want? Take your elastics, do all them the day before, and the next day we're off down there to go and fish, practice.
What a great experience being able to do that with someone abroad.
Fantastic.
And Will spoke about doing it fishing with Census when he came on his show as well. Like, you've both done a lot of fishing on the continent.
Yeah. Oh,
it's experience, and the older I get, the more I realise that experience is.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, and obviously, the more of you that get together, like in the World Championship, they've all got different experiences, and you can all. One might say this, and now one say, "Oh well, do you know what? You're right. I did this," and next thing you know, you're all tuned in and you're away, and you know exactly. And if you get that a couple of days before. Even the last World Championship, although I didn't fish, if you remember what happened, Will, two things happened on the Thursday. Do you remember what happened? Oh, I do.
Well, I might remember slightly different things, but
we've been fishing for bleak, on the canal, up in the water catching, and we hadn't really caught a lot on the bottom. And then I think he was German guy next to me caught a roach and a perch short. I came in short quarter. You came in, you beat me, and we caught some fish short. Do you remember? And the next day, Simon found that. And we fed at 5 metres. You was first and I was second doing that, and that's the tactic that won it. And we didn't find it till the. Do you remember that?
But this
am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, it was the Friday. I remember Simon coming back.
Yeah, and
we ended up fishing with that Pete.
Yeah,
this in Poland on the canal.
Yeah, on 5 metres. It wasn't it? That line. Do you remember?
I've forgotten the name of the canal. Yeah.
No,
I think we fed it everywhere in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, but that was the 5 metre line was crucial, wasn't it? We caught.
Yeah.
I can remember
you were
watching
unlucky
that
the second day because he drew the bit where the bream were.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't draw on them bream, you.
No.
But this tactic of catching short with that bait, it really. Well, we
didn't find it out till
9
the Friday,
points the first day. 9 points.
I can remember I came and watched that one. You absolutely annihilated it.
And that tactic was not. The line was found out on the Thursday, and the feeding on the Friday, and it just.
Yeah, you wiped the floor. Yeah, I can remember. Incredible. Have you missed international fishing, Steve? I mean, how did you depart the team? How did your sort of England career end, so to speak?
Well, I didn't fish that year, which I think if we hadn't done so well, and someone had done bad, I might have got fished the second day. The following year, I was hoping I was getting, because it was on a fast venue, flat float fishing, which I'd done a lot of, and I'd also done it that year. I've been out on the Arno, so I was a bit, streetwise, if you like, but I didn't get in. I was a little bit disappointed, but after that year, no, I haven't missed it. No,
you've not.
No, because then I realised after a year out, you think, because let's be honest, if you fish the Europeans and the Worlds. The amount of preparation beforehand, and then when you get back, you don't be interested in fishing for a couple of weeks. You're destroyed fit mentally and physically. So you can write out a month of your season when it's on, 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks after, and then you've got all the prep beforehand. And if you're doing it twice a year, it's a big part of your season. And like I said to you earlier, Matt, if you're fishing commercials, you come back, you're off the case, because you haven't. The lads that have been going are now they've been going 2-3 times a week, and they're right into it, and you've got to catch up. So it wasn't that so much, but yeah, the first year I was disappointed. I'd gone, so it was that venue. I think I would have liked. I'm not saying I'd done any good, but I think I'd liked the type of fishing, because it was fast water and barbel and all that sort of stuff, wasn't it? But I didn't, and I was obviously disappointed at the time, but it didn't take me long to get over it, I'll be honest. But,
listening to you both, do you think there ever is a way that you could be a successful international angler and do all the UK commercial stuff, or do all the UK commercial stuff really well and manage to fish for England? Because no one's really.
I'll tell you what happens, mate. If you try and do both, you do both not very well. That's what happens. Because I tried for 2 or 3 years, and I'll be honest, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying, but I think, anglers like Des, one of the best anglers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You never want to be near him. And Des, I think, was a little bit guilty of, when he got in the England team, he still wanted to do his evening matches, his White Acres festivals, this and this and this. He wanted to just go fish. And, I honestly think if Des had said, I'm not fishing internationally, I think he would have been probably the most successful commercial angler. Because he's that good. And also, I think if he'd have said, I ain't interested in commercials, I'm just focusing on my international career, his record was brilliant anyway.
Yeah, he was good, yeah.
But I think that's a prime example of someone trying to do both. And I've done it, and I ended up just doing everything not very well. My preparation fell. I was knackered, where you're just driving here, there and everywhere, and it's no good.
I'll tell you what I do believe, and I think it'll come at some point. They should have a commercial world championship.
Really? That's an interesting one.
Yep, because not only in England but across Europe, there's lots of commercials. I've been to lots in Italy. They're in Belgium, France,
Holland,
everywhere. And I think if you had a commercial world championship, then all the guys in England, the top guys that like to do that type of fishing, and it's a bit like the feeder fishing, they dominated it, didn't they? And I think that they could do really well doing that. And I think it's another step forward in, and also to get something like Sky Sports to be there like they do Fishermania and the rest of it. I think that would be a big plus for fishing in this country. And especially match fishing.
It's about the only discipline of fishing that there's not a world championship, to be honest. Now, we've got freestyle feeder, which is method, hybrid style feeder, normal feeder. There's
that's another thing. I think also when you go abroad and fish matches, you can't do everything.
No,
there's limit to what you can do, and I think we haven't gone down that route yet. But I think it's something we could do, because. For 2 reasons, especially for the older guys, it makes it a lot more simple, and it's cheaper, and I think that could encourage people to go, and also the fact of having it televised is, when we had the shop with Kenny, I remember when John Wilson started doing his TV programs, all of a sudden we got people coming through the door we hadn't seen for years. Because they watched him sitting fishing by the lily pads for tench. He came to Willow Park, didn't he? So I remember being there with him, and it's catching. And all of a sudden, those people that have got married, had kids, and suddenly they sort of watch. Oh my God, I fancy having a go fishing again. And they were coming back. But now there's no Keith Arthur's pro. No, it's nothing like that anymore.
No, it's different.
So I think if Sky Sports was to promote or even sponsor, we talked about this, and we will. I think if you had someone who was prepared to say, right, the winner of the individual world commercial championships, 100 grand. Winning team, 100 grand. And the sponsorship come from someone like Sky Sports as an example, I think you suddenly see a real boom in angling in the UK because it's been televised regular, and also I think it had worked throughout Europe. Do you? I don't know if you agree.
I totally agree, and
do you think
whether
that'd be working?
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's a good thing,
it's difficult for me because I've got what's good and what could be successful ain't what I want to do.
No, I understand.
If I want personally, and I'm going to be selfish, and I'll tell you exactly as it is. If I want Sky Sports to go on an event, I want them to come on what I think is the pinnacle of match fishing, the very top, which is the Float World Championships. It always has been, you know, and I'm not taking anything away from the feeder boys or the freestyle feeder or the Whip World Championships, whatever's going on. I think, but also I see the appeal of the commercial side. I know exactly what you're saying. Lots of fish, lots of action, this, that and the other. Does a bloke really want to watch an hour programme where someone catches one fish?
Also, I think if it's on a commercial, it's a lot easier for them to film it because they can have a central point where they just turn the camera around. Whereas when you're on a World, it's all in a line. They've got, he's catching up there. Oh, we've got to get up there quick. And where, you know what I mean? They can miss the action. Whereas on a
I mean, an example I use is, you know, you flick the telly on and there's the World Pool Championships.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, isn't it? You're on edge. It doesn't last 2 seconds and the bloke clears up like that.
Darts.
You turn it over and snooker's on. It's like, you know, frame's like 3 hours long and it's just safety play.
Same as darts.
But if you're into that and that's your thing, like I love snooker. I could sit there and watch 2 tactical players play for hours and hours and hours. It doesn't bother me. But if you're into the crash bang wallop action, pause your game. And I use that sort of example quite a bit. Match fishing, what we did, what I do, what you do, is snooker. It's tactical. It's like chess. It's like very
technical.
Whereas pool, for me, is a bit more like commercial fishing.
Crash bang wallop.
Wallop, over and done. Loads of action.
Yeah, that's all right.
And away you go.
I agree with Will. Whereas, I think it's hard to get the adrenaline rush watching an international float match like what we're talking about. Whereas, they can zoom in on a guy who's got a big fish on and say, he's got like 20 minutes to land a bream, for example. But they get bored watching that after a while, wouldn't they? But in general, when someone's so-and-so's catching loads of fish down here, and then the England guys just started catching, and they can generate some sort of excitement. And if you look at the way the sport's gone forward in the UK, it's commercial.
I agree, and I'll put my opinion on the line here. I think that out of all the disciplines of angling, feeder fishing, commercial fishing, and float fishing, I think the hardest one to do is the float fishing one. And I'm pretty sure if you speak to the England feeder team and you speak to the top 10 commercial anglers in the country and said, would you fancy coming and changing and only doing that? They'd go, no chance. And you go, why? They'd go, because prep's a million times more difficult, because I need a million times more gear, because my bait choice is so vast, because the venues are so diverse. The actual minefield of what we do is horrendous. But that's what I love. I want to be in the deepest, darkest water possible and try and find a way through. That's where I'm getting my kick. But that's probably not the best arena to watch angling. It's probably, and in my opinion, the most skillful arena in angling, because there's that many. And you two, you've had 27 years of doing it, which I've got the most possible respect for, and you're still in the midst of it. But, dead honest, from a coverage point of view, it's and it makes me sad to say this, it's probably not the best one to do coverage on.
No, it's not the one to generate excitement.
No.
But I also believe that these events now need sponsors, and the way it's gone, it needs a big sponsor.
Look how popular the International Fishermania used to be. You know, you used to have loads of people watching it, and
you did.
And the viewing figures on Sky were good.
Everyone talked about that.
And it's gone.
Do you know, for many years in Italy, you weren't allowed to fish for money.
Is that the case, really?
Yeah, if you entered a competition, it might cost you €20 or €30 to enter. When you got your prize, it was a gold medal. And depending on where you come, how big the gold was. So I remember speaking to Milo once, and he said he had 1.6 kilos of gold in the bank. Because, you know, that's worth a lot. So that was years ago. Then they changed it. They do pay money out. But their rules from their federation, they weren't allowed to fish. They could only fish for these medals. So,
I mean, I'll ask you two, what do you pride yourself on the most in your fishing? Would it be a value of money that you could win, or would it be a standard of event and prestige? Like, what Steve, you first, what would you pride yourself on? What's the most difficult thing to win in angling?
No, it's not the most difficult thing. I think the most satisfying thing is enjoying it. That, to me, I just want to enjoy the day, and I just want to compete still. If I can compete, then I'm happy. And if I get to a stage where I think I can't compete, and I'll be honest, it's slowing down, definitely. The younger anglers are tuned in more to commercial fishing, which is what I'm doing. So it's very hard to compete with them on certain tactics. But I think enjoyment's the most important thing. That you're really got a buzz about going. How much you win, to me, in the past, it's nice to have a big pickup, and if you do win. But I think winning's the most important thing of all, and coming back with satisfaction, knowing that, cool, I've done well today. Yeah.
Sounds to me like you enjoy the competitive element, because I wouldn't enjoy it if it weren't competitive. No. I'd have to go carp fishing or something different.
Yeah.
What about you, Will?
Yeah, very, very similar. You know, it's nice to go out and win a chunk of money, but for me, it's more, you know, the longevity for me in the sport. I want to be around. I want to, you know, like I've already touched on earlier, I'm 50 now, and I've spoke to you about the England team. Yes, I fish commercials a lot more through the winter when I've got a bit more time, but in the summer I tend to dedicate my time to practice, preparation, and obviously going to these big events. But for me, it's about, you know, just trying to do my part as far as being as good an angler as I can be, and trying to help the guys that are going to be there when I'm not there anymore. And Steve Emigre and Sean aren't there anymore. You know, so...
You can't go on forever, can you?
No. I enjoy my fishing more than I ever have. I enjoy the preparation side of it more than I ever have. And, you know, enjoying it is the most important thing. And, you know, it's difficult to enjoy what I do and what I love without the support of, like we used to have, from whether it's
and your family.
Yeah. But whether it's angling publications or TV companies, they've just lost interest, and it breaks my heart. You know, when I won the World Championships in 2008. There was Sky Sports, BBC Radio, Angling Times, Anglers Mail, match fishing, pole fishing.
Drennan were out there.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like...
But I do believe that a major sponsor and Sky Sports, and it would trigger it right off.
Yeah.
I do believe that. And you know, that when you think it's a European thing, you'd think like Sky Sports would get involved somewhere along the line. And I do believe that it would be very popular.
What's the reason, do you think, that that's not happening at the minute?
I don't think that they've been approached by the right people. I think they need they need FIPS to get in touch with them, discuss it all, see where they can go. And I think that, you know, until that happens, I can't see it happening. Could you?
No.
It's probably not being presented to the right people by the right people.
Possibly, mate. Yeah.
But you'd have seen it, Matt, and heard it. You know, I get back and people are like contacting me, wanting to know how we've done.
Yeah.
You know, these are the. You know.
Do you know the other thing, Will? Over the years, England winning too many times, it gets boring in the end, and that is what happened. I think when it first started dying off, England have won again. And I remember speaking to one of the press guys. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Match Fishing, and they said if they put a picture of, say, like that on the front, you know, or the England team, they didn't sell as many copies as with someone with a net full of carp.
Yeah,
and I think that's we have to realise that and think how many people actually do that type of fishing in the UK. How many venues can you fish a bolo on? How many venues can you fish for bleak? How many venues can you fish? And how many anglers actually do it? Or fish, a waggler and sliders. And I think that's why I think a commercial one would really take off.
But it all comes down to the fact everything you're talking about is hard. If you want to go fish a slider, you need 14-foot slider rods. You need catapults for different distances. You need a complicated rig. You need to get good at firing it out, which takes a lot. So it's the most difficult part of it.
And how many commercials are deep enough?
There's no wonder that no one wants to do it, because it's really hard and people don't have the time. Whereas commercials, 8 or 10 top kits, nice set of rigs and a couple of up boxes, and the fishing's unbelievably technical and skillful, and there's tons to it, but it is a lot more accessible, in my opinion.
If you go like when you were in Poland and the World Club Championships, you see all the guys there, all these different countries. You can see that they've all been doing it regularly. They're not, but you took all the top commercial guys out here and took them out there and said, right, come on, you're going to slider fish, they'd be all over the place. It's not their fault. It's just that we haven't got the venues here or the competitions here where they can do it. I'm sure if they turn their minds to it, they could do it really well. But it's that we haven't got the competitions or the matches to go on where we can do that type of fishing. But you go abroad, to say, how many commercials are deep enough to fish a slider?
None.
No.
Literally none.
So the only ones, the reservoirs, I know there's 2 of the young lads, Billy Kirk and someone, they're going down to Ardingly fishing the matches, and they're trying to tune in with the sliders, which is good. But that's on a resi, But we haven't got that here. And so abroad, they're doing it all the time. And if you go somewhere in Italy, for example, to fish, I've never seen a trolley in Italy.
Because you can park behind every single peg.
And that's another thing. It's making it a lot simpler for the guys to go. And as I say, they're all got, nearly all the waters out there are quite deep, and when you go to places like that, so you can fish a slider or big wagglers and
we just need the right people listen to the right thing, or the right people approach the right people, and things may change, and hopefully we'll see it happen.
Fingers crossed. It's not I haven't got, I don't blame any one in particular. It's just when it's what you've been brought up doing and it's where your heart lies, it's just a bit sad, to see it sort of, if I'd have said to you 20 years ago, 20 years' time, the England float team won't have a sponsor. You'd have said... You'd have laughed at me.
Well, that's again, TV coverage would bring that, because they'd want to see you with your, you know what I'm saying, with your name plastered across your chest out there, and on television all the time. And I think we haven't got any fishing shows now, have we? Mortimer,
very few.
Was it Mortimer and
White House?
White House, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And but that's not,
Bit
what I
of
mean?
Fishermania. Yeah, it's true.
Well, a Fishermania's filmed when most guys want to be fishing a match.
Yeah.
They don't want to be sat there watching it on the telly. They want to be. They might record it, but I think in general, the international fishing needs major sponsorship. That's the bottom line.
Definitely.
And the thing is, you set foot in Europe as an international angler, and it's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could pick any one of the top commercial lads. If they walked in a tackle shop through Europe with Stevie, they'd probably think he was his driver.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know him.
Yeah, it's true that.
But they'd know him.
And I see it with you when we go away. It's ridiculous.
And that's the household names in England aren't the household, one or two of them maybe, but on a whole, they...
Steve Ringer says exactly the same. Yeah, Steve Ringer talks exactly the same.
Yeah. And that's why I look forward to fishing in Europe so much.
Interesting. Moving it away from international fishing? Because we could sit and talk for days about
I
international
thought you were
fishing.
going to say hours. We've already done that.
No, more than hours. What before we wrap things up, Steve? What are your proudest moments of the fishing that you've done in the UK? What stands out in your mind?
Oh,
Because
gosh.
you've won nationals, you've won loads of commercial stuff. Like, is there anything in particular that stands out as your proudest UK achievements?
Cool. The UK, obviously, First Division National on the New Junction Canal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a shock, I must admit.
What do you mean a shock? Why a shock?
To go and win it.
Yeah.
yeah. Up there.
It was great because we were sharing again.
I mean, having to go to Doncaster on a Wednesday to practice on the canal and catch £1.6.
Just having to go to Doncaster's terrible, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, and, I've been up there. Well, we've been on those areas loads of times. Obviously, Evesham was kind to me.
Have you? Am I right in thinking you won all 3 days at Evesham?
Yeah, I did. I have, yeah, and the team event twice. Once with England and once with Dorking. And he'll tell you because he was my runner.
Yeah, champion of champions.
When I had all the
Past winners.
all the past winners turn up, and I managed to beat Alan by about a pound.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All roach on Bloodwood, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bowling.
4 above the bridge, weren't you?
Yeah.
And what was the story about the day before? Do you remember when we went and practiced?
I do the same peg, didn't I?
Yeah.
And what happened?
I had £7 the day before.
Yeah.
But obviously learned, and then the next day I drew the same peg, and they obviously
£12
They
something
like
like that,
my
didn't
bait from the day before.
He always licks his ground bait sticky.
Pre-baited.
Just started breaking up, hadn't it?
I remember I forget who it was who was next to me, and he was trying to catch on him, wasn't he? Do you remember? And he just started
balling it.
Yeah, and every time I kept bowling it again because that's just getting this positive response. And,
Just re-balling it halfway through?
Yeah, 3 or 4 times I think
worked,
you balled
though,
it.
didn't
Yeah, straight back on it.
Gosh, yeah.
Little run of fish and then
Started to tail off.
but yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
Incredible. Have you ever been interested in anything like Fishermania or any of the big money matches?
I'll tell you, my this is my experience from Fishermania. The first one I fished was on the Wallace Haven. That's right. And when I got there, I couldn't park within 200 yards of the bridge. We had the draw, so I've had to walk 200 yards to the bridge. Then a field to get through to get to the peg 1, and then I was on peg 1, 2, 5. I climbed over 5 stiles with all my gear, and I have actually won before on Wallace Haven, and I thought, no, I can't do that again. And the next one, the Basing
Stoke.
I never had a bite, and neither did anyone near me. And I thought, what's the point?
I think Robbie Morley qualified that day.
Your dad fished that day.
Yeah.
I walked down there and he was the first one. I said, caught anything?
Yeah.
I walked
I'm
along the
sure
bank 'cause
Robin
no one was
qualified that day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that no, I've had a go. The fish south. I qualified one year actually. I did qualify for that the first time I fished it at Willinghurst. But I got to a stage where it doesn't inspire me to do all those competitions. Again, where the finals are, you go there and you're fishing against the regulars. And unless you go there, say, right, I've qualified, I'm going to spend the next 2 months up there, it's very hard to compete, unless you're really, I know some guys have, and you've drawn the good peg and it suits the way you want to fish and you're tuned in. I mean, some of the southern guys have done very well on finals, but in general,
but that Ultimate League final at its day, that was the biggest commercial event,
10
virtually
grand.
going.
Was it 10 grand Ultimate League, and you won that?
Yeah.
Well, I won half of it.
Why? What happened to the other half, Steve?
Fair play.
And that were up our way, wasn't it?
We all did. No, we used to go to a lot of finals, and didn't we? We'd say,
we fished a Wednesday league at Hallcroft once. That's 107, nearly 180 mile from our house.
What? And you just went up in the week on a Wednesday to fish?
Yeah, right up in the morning, back at night.
That's ridiculous.
I've been to Evesham before now in the middle of winter, before the M25 was built, on a Saturday, 130 mile, 3 hours, driven all the way home. Next morning, got up and gone back, fished again.
Nutter.
Oh no.
That's Evesham.
Yeah, that's what we used to do though.
Yes.
But we used to fish a league there on a Saturday. I think it was
Normark, wasn't it? Normark
it
League or something.
Yeah. We used to go there. But
and what's left to do, Steve, in fishing? Have you got anything that you still want to win or fish, or you're just going to keep doing what you do, fish as regular as you can?
Yeah, just fish. Yeah, still look forward to going, obviously, and compete. That's the most important thing. And I don't know so much up your way, Matt, because I think where you are, you've got a lot more commercials very near the motorways, and there's a lot within an hour's distance. Whereas
a lot,
because we live south of London, Will's a little bit further, but even Will, your catchment area for drawing anglers is not great. Will, is
no.
But where if you say, like for example, you've got Birmingham, your Tunnel Barn, any of those venues around there, your catchment area, you've got some major cities within striking distance, and
it's an hour for a lot of people.
If you go there, there'd be 10 from there, 10 from there, 10 from Wales, 10 from, you know what I mean, and that's so. Whereas down our way, you haven't. You've got a handful of young anglers, but a lot of the guys are older anglers, and like myself, they're 60, 70 years of age, and they want to go out and compete still. So you sort of you try to accommodate them as best as possible. I mean, in a lot of the matches now, we pay right down the line, because if you think, I'll bet you 60% of the field at Gold, for example, never win anything.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't win nothing. They might pick up a now and again, and if they pick up, it encourages them to go again. So we've tried to pay more people down the line and keep things going as they are, because once that goes all right, once you get a few drop out, the next guy will how many go? I ain't going to bother now, and the next you ain't got no match.
Yeah, it's a domino effect. Yeah,
domino. Yeah, and I've seen that happen on a lot of venues.
Interesting. I'll tell you what I do need to ask you, because you are an inspiration when I see how fit and how much fishing you do and how much you've done. Like, is there a secret to keeping yourself fit and healthy, Steve? Is it something you've ever been conscious of? Because you've done it for so long, so well, and you still do it every week. Like, are you health conscious? Do you do anything to...
I've got a trigger finger in 4 fingers from holding a pole.
What's that?
When they lock.
Right.
And you got that one there. I'm going to do it, because it goes click, and then it's a pain, shoots up me out.
What, just locks up?
Yeah, because from holding the pole, it's hard to make a... Yeah, and that's the only...
Sure it's from holding a pole?
I think it is, yeah. Roach pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... It just, they lock. Yeah, sometimes bad. So you get... I've had steroid injections in there, because it's a tendon, and it I don't know what happens, but the goes through it into the it locks up, it seizes up where it's swollen, and so I've had that. A lot of sun damage, which we spoke about earlier, over the years, and the other thing you've got to be wary of is your eyes.
In what way is that?
We're looking at the glare on the water. Yeah. That definitely can affect you, I'm sure. But in general, I think it's quite a healthy sport. And I mean, I always remembered in lockdown, who was in charge of releasing the different sports you could do? I can't think of his name now.
I won't be able to tell you if it's politician kind of person.
All I always remember him saying, they talking about, and he said fishing. He said, well, fishing is not a physical exercise. And I thought, you come with me, fish 16 metres on a swing rig for 5 hours and tell me that's not physical.
Yeah.
But you don't realise, you all right, maybe not the bottom half of your body, but the top half of your
draw
body.
121 at Waller's
125.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, but that type of, you know what I mean? It's the physical, there is that physicality involved, and I think that's...
Being fit and healthy can only help you. You said that when we talked about your podcast. A lot of anglers that are good are strong, fit, healthy.
Yeah, and their mind's constantly...
busy
mind, I think, really helps.
Definitely.
Don't smoke.
No.
Don't drink, really.
No?
No. I have it. The only 2 drinks I really have is on holiday, mostly Prosecco. I might have an odd glass, might have a couple of glasses a month. And the other one is, they call it Molly's in Antigua. What do they call it? The cream.
Baileys?
Yeah.
So if I have a Baileys and an odd Prosecco, I'm going to be fit as a fiddle.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good to me.
I'm on blood pressure pills and statins, by the way.
I'm just complimenting you at how good you are and how long you've done it for. It's phenomenal. Yeah. We, on this podcast, I always try and wrap things up with some quickfire questions, which we asked. I haven't teed you up for these on purpose because I wanted you.
Can I just start? You might say I'm quickfire. I might not answer them quickfire.
You are quickfire. You would be quickfire. But I ask these to literally everyone who comes on, and people often look forward to them, and I've got to fire some across to you while I've got you here. What's your most embarrassing match fishing moment? And he's sat opposite you chuckling.
I think Will's got to tell you this one, because I can't answer this one.
We were talking about it on the way up, weren't we?
Go on.
Well, again, I got asked the other day on an interview what was the funniest thing I've ever seen in fishing.
Right.
So you got to picture this. We're on the River Cam, wasn't it? Was it the Cam?
Yeah, we were practising.
Yeah, for Winter League semi-final.
Oxford and Cambridge were into
they got like these rowing eights up and down, and there's these people on these bikes with the loudspeakers, and we're all fishing in a line, and this guy's come along on the boat and sort of, he didn't damage the pole.
What happened, because they were all on bikes, you couldn't have your pole behind you, so I had it parallel to the bank. And I'm fishing, all of a sudden this guy called this crew in, and he's hit my pole with the oar as he came in, and I also sort of had words with him.
Worth a lot of money, that, mate. You know,
do you realise? And well, a little while later, my pole blew out.
It blew into the river.
Right.
Blew out a little bit, and
so he's bent down to pick it up.
Put my hand on the grass, and
it's gone straight in. Landed on top of his pole, broke it into 3 pieces, and the guy that he just helped him out.
Did he really?
The guy that he just had a go at for eating his pole, like that, do you want a hand out of there, mate?
Will was at the next peg. I mean, I can't swim either. And I went in head first. And Will was on the next peg. As I came up, I looked. And
he's clinging onto the bank, and he's looked at me and he's gone, "Don't you laugh." I'm like, I've never bit my lips so hard, you know, like.
And then the embarrassing bit, I've had to walk all the way. I don't know how I had to change the clothes, but I've had to walk all the way back through all these young university students cheering on the rowers, soaking wet from head down.
We went for a few days, so I think you had your clothes in the thing, but that was like, and for this guy,
that was February as well.
He just said, "Watch that, it's worth a lot of money, mate." And there's just bits of Milo pole floating in the can everywhere. If he'd have just said to you, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. It's worth a lot of money," I think I'd still be laughing now.
I thought that's what you were going to say. Oh, God.
That was a good one.
Next one, a bit more serious. What would you say is your single biggest match-winning edge?
Ooh.
The pause is adding a lot of meaningfulness.
I've got to tell you what I told you earlier. When we on one particular day, you mean, Matt?
Or just in general as a mindset thing. Someone in your experience, Steve, you've won so much. You know, what's the big picture thing that?
I think this is something that's come more relevant this week and last couple of weeks to me, to be honest. Being prepared to change. Don't be fixated on one particular method. Even though you could have had a lot of success over a period, say early summertime, and then suddenly the method doesn't work right anymore, and you've got to be prepared to change. So it's not being fixated on one thing and say, right, wherever I go, I'm going to do that. If it doesn't work, it's being, let's say, right, I've got to dismiss that now. I've got to concentrate and tune in on this and get better at that. It's being prepared to change, I think.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say similar, Will?
100%. Having that a little bit in your fishing, I've been guilty of it in the past, not having it, but having a little bit of, well, let's see what happens. You know, goes a long way, I think.
Bit of fluidity and
Yeah.
What a great answer. Absolutely love it. Who do you rate as the best angler that you've ever fished with?
You've got different generations here because I got people that when I first started, obviously international wise, Kevin and Bob, their generation, they were, Bob was, Kevin was a natural, Bob was a technician.
Kevin Ashurst, Bob Nudd.
Yeah, and then obviously Alan come into the team, and I can always remember watching Alan and Tommy fishing stick floats next to each other on the Trent at Burton Joyce once, and I was like, I couldn't believe how good they were fishing it at range, not close. And they both had like £20 that day, and then my old mucker here, number one.
No, you fish with so many though, mate. It's a joke.
Yeah,
over
it's
Steve's career.
Yeah, I have, and it's very difficult to if I forgot anybody, I apologise, but that.
You don't need to though, Steve. Like I might be sat here quiet, but just listening to you sat opposite me and being able to say, well, Kevin Ashurst were amazing. Bob Nudd was a technician. Alan Scawthorne was phenomenal. Tommy Pickering was amazing. And Will Raison is number one. Yeah. Like the fact that you can sit there and reel off those names as some of the best, that shows to me how long you've been doing it, how long you've been amazing, and some of the people who you've mixed and fished with.
I've missed, as you say, Tommy, Dennis, Ian Heaps. I've fished with them, and they're all great anglers. Sean, Steve Gray, Des. I've not fished with a bad angler internationally. Well, they've all been really good. And so I said earlier, if guys didn't stay in the team for long, it wasn't necessarily their ability. It just didn't go for them. It's a bit like, when you go to your competition now, you could have 3 bad draws on the trot and you don't do no good at all. It's not that you're a bad angler, and that's what's happened. Internationally wise, they've had an opportunity and they've just been unfortunate. They've drawn bad, and Will, I think, will agree with me. He's seen it happen, and there's nothing they could do. And then the management loses confidence. And
management have got to have trust in their anglers. That's what they've got to have. You work with the juniors, and you're involved obviously with the adult team, and the managers have to have confidence in.
Massively.
Yeah. That's exactly that. To me, is how I see it. Anyway. So.
If you only had one day left to go fishing, where would you go and who would you go with?
Can I? Does the Caribbean sound all right?
Literally, the more exotic, the better.
Oh dear.
Go on, where would it be?
It wouldn't be the Basingstoke Canal, I can tell you that.
And it wouldn't be Wallershaven. Oh gosh, that's a difficult question.
You're only allowed one. I'm going to be strict on this one.
I don't think I can answer that, Matt.
You've got to. You're not walking out that door till you have.
I don't think it would be a match. No, I think it would be out in a boat. Can I say Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico?
Absolutely fine, really.
That's what Darren Cox, wasn't it? He was like, was it the Salt Flats or
bonefish?
Yeah,
bonefish somewhere. He was about,
Yeah, I've done that. So no, I think it would be that because you got the sunshine. You got the nature, everything, everything around you, and the other thing, what you don't know, you never know what you're going to hook.
That exciting.
That is. Yeah, I showed you a few pictures. I'll give you an example. We went out, Steve O'Rourke and myself, because I've been on holiday with Steve. We're good friends for many years now. I think probably 20 years that we've been going. And he used to have a condominium in Fort Myers Beach in Florida, and a boat. I was lucky he invited us, me and my wife, to go there, and we stayed in there with him. So we'd go fishing out in his boat regular, and he was a good skipper. He had all the sonar, so he used to know where the reefs were and all the rest of it. And we used to catch all sorts. You know, we'd catch sharks up to 12 foot long. I showed you earlier that, like, you know, those sawfish and really like unique fish where you have to report them if you catch them. I didn't know that. I put them back, but the one that always sticks in my mind is we went out there one day, and what we used to do, we used to go on the way, and then we used to, with his fish finder, we'd see where the reef was, and we'd drop a buoy on it, so we knew exactly where it was, and then work out with the wind and the tide. Because you didn't want to be casting out in your bait coming backwards, you wanted it to stay out there. So work it all out, right? So all set up, drop the anchor, yep, perfect. And we throw out our dead baits, like, and all of a sudden the rod go, whoa, here we go. Say I got no bait. Chuck out again. All of a sudden, it's got same again. What the hell's going on? And then, oh no, dolphins popped up.
No.
And it's what they do. They're doing. That was your dead bait like that. He'd grab the end and pull like mad and rip it off your hook. Right. So anyway, I thought, oh no, can't believe this. So if you don't get the anchor up, get the buoy up, go to another reef. Mile or so away in a boat, you know, it's a speedboat, anchored up, chucked out, got everything ready, chucked out, dolphin followed the boat. Chucked out, hooked it again, followed the boat. Yep. The dolphin followed the boat. You wouldn't believe it, would it? They knew. I know, it's unbelievable.
I think the bike at Warwickshire Haven are bad. That's a different level.
So the answer to the question, if you had one day left to go fishing, where would you go? Steve, I go dolphin fishing in the Caribbean.
I would definitely go somewhere in the sea with the sun. And I mean, I've had some great trips out on catamarans in Antigua with the guys where we're trolling off the back. The girls are with us. We've got all the food on board, all the drinks you want, music, and we're just poodling along, holding the rod. All of a sudden, you get a wallop, and it could be anything. You don't know what it is. One day, and then during the day we pull up on one of the beaches, and you can go snorkeling and eat your food and all the rest of it. And the guys who used to go out with were great company as well, good fun. We have a good laugh with the crew. One year we went out and we're going, all of a sudden I've got one, and they immediately up and they stop the boat, and if it's a big one they back up, and it snagged me. And we're on this reef called Cadiz Reef off the coast of Antigua, and two of the guys said, back it up, we dive in, we get it out. And they've gone down, dived down, it's because you can see the bottom is clear. They come back, got me lure, I got an octopus.
Never.
On the end. Cool, they loved that. Of course, they're going to eat that, and they octopus. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Caught an octopus.
What, an octopus had ate your lure? Tried to eat your lure?
I'm not sure exactly whether the lure had hit the bottom and snagged, and the octopus attacked it when it was down, or whether the octopus took the lure. But it was all tangled up with the hooks.
And they kept it and ate it at you.
But that's the sort of thing that happens when you're out there. You know, you could get a bite. It could be a fish like this, or it could be one of these. And
sounds like a good final day's fishing to me. That
definitely.
Does.
Yeah, that's
100%.
Yeah, rather than sitting there and pouring me rain or blowing
Winter League at West Drayton. I think I'd take that.
Antigua and do.
Yeah.
And a final one. I'd be interested to hear your answer to this one, Steve. If fishing didn't exist, what sport or hobby would you do?
That's a good question. I think it would probably be golf. I don't know why I said that, but I'm just trying to think of something that would sort of give me the urge to get better and blame myself if I've done something wrong. But I think golf probably. What
would your answer to that one be, Will, out of curiosity? Because I didn't have that one in the question.
Yeah, if I was good enough, it'd be snooker.
Yeah?
Yeah, just not good enough.
I used to beat you at pool at Willow Park. Do you remember?
No, we were working hard.
You used to come.
My dad might watch this.
You used to come round and play. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We used to play cricket in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
I know, what was the ball? It was that.
I don't know.
And how many times he took a swing and completely missed it? It was only going
Fantastic. And one thing we always ask on this podcast, Steve, and I only teed you up for this a little bit later, was do you have a gift that you can leave here for us?
I do, sir.
This is going to be interesting.
This is going back to my the early days of match fishing on the Thames and that when I was fishing stick floats, wagglers and everything.
Look at that. Tell me what it is.
So I thought it was a 506, but it's an Abu 1044, is it?
That is beautiful. You know, this has got to stay here. You're happy to leave this?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Look at that toe.
It's going in the cabinet, that one, isn't
Do
it?
you know who would like that?
My old man would like that.
Your
yeah.
old man would love that.
I've already sent him some pictures. He said they're really cool.
They are
Yeah.
really
He'll be coming in to
cool.
have a look at them soon.
What line's on it, Steve?
I don't. To be honest with you, I don't know. Is it red on that line?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Might be
I really
Maxima.
don't know what that line is. It's been on there about 20 years, but
Yeah.
I've not used it.
Didn't
for,
Milo do a reddish
Yeah,
sort
it could be a Milo
of
line.
on?
Yeah.
It
Real
could be,
line.
Could be a Milo line.
So
yeah.
you've used this loads.
Oh yeah.
This
yeah.
was like your...
Well, that was one of the very first ones we used close face, because the only other reel at that time, as I said, I think was the Mitchell match with the spring bail line, but I didn't get on with that.
Yeah, big and bulky, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
But then they went up a stage.
So distinctive, that noise, isn't
That
Click.
it? Yeah.
lovely, innit? Listen to this, folks.
They went up a stage to that one.
Nice.
But the handles come off on that, broken off.
You brought a right collection. You're not leaving all these, are you?
No, you can't have that one.
Be like, you'll see me and Toby on Antiques Roadshow next week.
50 quid.
Where did you get
Tony.
these
Yeah,
from?
that's it.
Well,
But that was like a bigger version, faster retrieve, obviously. Nice, probably a bit better for stick float fishing and whatever.
look at them.
And then I've got to show you the European version, which really took off out out there. Which when I went to Italy fishing with Milo and what have you, and Milo used to sell thousands of these every year.
Yeah.
And this one,
Get your head round that one, Matt.
What is that? Look at that. Have you got that on camera? You can get that, can't you, on my camera? Look at that thing. And that's Italian, Steve.
no, I think I got a feeling it could be French, but Milo used to sell lots and lots of them in Italy. I mean, thousands of them in Italy. They used to do them for bolo and slight waggler and all the rest of it.
What's this for?
You know what? I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if it's a brake or clutch. Can stop the. I'm not sure actually.
Look at that. Someone.
I don't think I've ever fished with that one.
I mean, comment below, folks. Have you ever fished with that reel? Does anyone own one of them? Have you ever seen one before? Because it's ridiculous, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's mad, isn't it?
And am I right in thinking you have to wind it backwards to release?
Yes, that's it. You wind it backwards to release the line, and then forwards to click back in. Yeah.
Beautiful. So
They
we can
still-
keep all
oh,
three of
oh.
these.
Yeah, no.
If I see you in Bosnia
already-
on the slider using that,
You've already got two
I'm going to
presents.
tell Steve.
You've got two presents already there, Matt.
Thank you very much.
But
Let me gear them
they
two
still
back.
use. I think they still use these in Italy now.
Do they? Bolo, stick float, waggler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aren't they a work of art? They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're absolutely
Let
stunning.
me just check that.
Check's giving you the right one back as well.
I'm just going to say if it's working. I'm not even sure if it's. Yeah, the bail arm's gone in. See, look.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
They are beautiful, mate. Thank you very, very much.
That's all
Really
right.
appreciate it. Well,
But,
listen, I'm not just saying this. I've been dying to get you on, and obviously we spoke about Will coming and having a sit down with us. And if I'm honest, I've literally not looked at the notes that I made because I've just sat and nattered to you both.
Yeah.
And it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been more of just us three having a chat.
Yeah.
And I've spoke to Will before in detail, but I've got so much respect for what you've done in fishing, Steve. Thank you for coming and sitting down with us.
thank
And
you, mate.
yeah, honestly, I really,
I
really
think we all
appreciate
have,
it.
mate. I think we all have.
Yeah, I have as well, mate. I didn't know whether I'd be able to cope with it, but I had backup.
Honestly, like
It'd have been fine, wouldn't it?
it'd have been absolutely
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
But if ever we can all sit down and have another natter again,
Yeah.
I'd absolutely love to, because I'm
You
sure.
might have to wheel me in.
Stop
You
it.
got a lift here.
Don't
We
be
have
daft.
actually, yeah. So there you go.
No, honestly, and Will, thank you very much
No,
for coming on
anytime,
again.
mate.
Really
Anytime.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you for asking.
I'm really pleased he came.
Are you really?
Yeah, because give me confidence.
Well, it's been like
like-
sat here with two of my
It's like,
fishing heroes.
it's like going on a world championship.
Yeah.
Well, listen, put it there. Thank you very much.
No worries.
I'm sure if everyone at home's enjoyed that as much as I have, we've
You're
got an
welcome, mate.
absolutely
Yeah,
cracking
cheers, Bob.
show.